Nobody, no crime. Well, not on my time. Eyes are watching, giving victims a voice. Raise your voice from Delphi to Camden, and there will be no more botching. We might not be Dateline, but come along if you want a great time. Grab yourself a glass of wine, and let's talk some true crime. And hey, you'll even have an alibi if you collect evidence in red Solo cups. If your expert says it just did, you might have a problem. We might not be Dateline, but come along if you want a great time. Grab yourself a glass of wine, and let's talk some true crime. And hey, you'll even have an
Hello, everyone. How are we doing? I realized that my TV is on and I hear myself. So I am going to go ahead and bring up the man, the myth, the legend, Maz Media, and let him talk to you guys for just a minute. Well, I'll go turn that off so it's not echoing. All right. Hello, Maza.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good. Good. If you don't mind, man and ship for 2 seconds while I go turn this TV off.
You got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lauren Katie's Common Sense Investigators fundraiser for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. This is the last fundraiser between both of our channels before Kelsey Fitzsimmons' trial begins on Monday morning in Lawrence. It's going to be a big week. It's a big week for Kelsey Fitzsimmons and her defense team, and we're looking forward to helping them in any way, shape, and form that we can. Kelsey's defense fund is in the chat. I'm not sure if it's pinned, but it is going to be placed by the mods throughout the show. Presently, Kelsey Fitzsimmons Give, Send, Go is over $116,000. This has soared in just 2 to 3 weeks. This thing has soared from around the $70,000, $80,000 mark all the way up to triple figures, or 6 figures, I should say, which is absolutely amazing. So we welcome back to the show the host of this show with their new background with the live on-air sign. I need to get a background that says on air. That's a nice touch. I like it.
I've had it forever, and I was like, you know what? I'm finally just going to throw this stuff up there.
It works.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Maza. And I realized I did not pin this in the chat. So if let me go.
Would you like me to
here.
post the link in the comments for you to
That'd be
pin?
amazing, and then I'll
Okay.
yes, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
You're on the YouTube. You're on the YouTube page right now to pin it, right? You're not doing it from. You have to do it. You can't do it from StreamYard.
I will do it on my phone. I will go there. Now.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, it's one of those tricky little things they don't. StreamYard doesn't allow you to do, which is unfortunate.
I can't keep up.
That's okay. Yeah, it's complicated. They don't make it easy. Once you're ready, I'll drop the comment and you can pin it. See it.
All right. All right. Go for it.
All right, here it comes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, there it is.
Fantastic. Oh, it's doing this through Chrome. Let's see. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, it's taking me to the actual site. That's fine. We'll go back this way. Go to site. No. I don't know why this is doing that. Okay, let's see here. Thank you all for being here. And as you can see, first of all, I apologize. I got the time wrong on the stream earlier. We had to go back and forth like so many times on the change because Nima's schedule. And I was literally getting ready and his assistant called and was like, oh, he's a thing. He just needs to be let in. I'm like, oh. So I had to run and hop on real fast, and so we did our thing. But I am so sorry that the time got completely mishandled. So you'll have to check it on replay. And I will work on getting this pinned. I don't know why it's doing this here. Okay.
Lauren, I hate to
Anyway.
interject, but your stream is kind of getting a little crackle. It's crackling a little bit. It's like a little botchy and everything. I don't know if you want to exit
Okay.
StreamYard, then rejoin. That may be helpful. Sometimes that clears it.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So I just go out and come back in.
Yeah, it should work. We'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Sometimes this happens. I don't know why StreamYard does that, but sometimes that happens. It happens to me every now and then. I leave and then come back in. But yes, everybody, welcome to the show. The fundraiser is pinned to the top of your chat, and I'll keep the total for us throughout the night. And hopefully we can raise some good money for Kelsey here tonight. Please share the link. Please share it. It'd be fantastic to help her out. I'm looking forward to this week. It's going to be a nerve-wracking week, obviously, but there's going to be a lot of energy. There's a lot of enthusiasm for Kelsey to get through this portion of her life. The sooner she can get through this, the sooner she can move on to getting her child back, which is really, in my opinion, the big prize. And I don't want to ever consider, associate anything with a surprise, but I just think that that's the slang terminology is that's the real big thing here is the baby. And that's been the fight all along is basically this custody battle where she has not had a fair shake. She has not had a fair opportunity. She has had her life really robbed. And she's been basically, as we've seen, in a lot of ways, had a lot of things taken away from her, including her computer being breached, as we've seen. The Braceland login confirms that. This has been a real bad thing for a long time for her. And now that this is kind of like, comparing it to football. Or sports, this is basically playoff time now. This is now that the season's over. This is playoff time now, or the Bradle and that defense team are going to be in that arena all week. The judges there. There's going to be witnesses. There's going to be cross-examination, direct examination, and all that going on. And this is going to be basically for all the marbles here. And I expect Kelsey to get acquitted. I think she's going to be acquitted. I think this is going to be something that should be no problem at all. And I think that before you know it, she's going to be walking out the door. They're going to be very happy. And, I expect Kelsey to be my prediction is I anticipate her walking out very happy with the result, but very much focused on the next step, which is family and probate court. I'm definitely anticipating that. I think she'll be very happy walking out not guilty, but I think at the same time, this is secondary to, this has consequences, obviously legally, but I think with the child, that's really what this is, what she wants more than anything. Obviously, everything, she needs to win everything. She's going to win everything. But I'm looking forward to seeing her very happy again. And I think this is what this is all about. This is about helping people get their life back. And it was the same thing with Karen Reed, other people we've supported, obviously, out there, other cases that have come throughout the days here or years here. And this is about helping her get back in position to really get her life back. And that's what I want to see for her. Most importantly, and it's very sad as we welcome back private investigator Lauren. Let's see, it looks like it's better now.
Is that better?
It should be. I'll see if it's a little lag in your imagery, but your audio sounds good so far.
Okay. All right. Hopefully this works here. Yep. Thank you so much, Maza. Yes. Yep. Exactly what Maza was saying. We just want to raise as much funds now for Kelsey heading into next week. So we thank everyone for being here. And Maza, what else were you saying? I don't want to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I can pivot right back to you. I was just saying it's a big week ahead, and there's a lot of, it's not only about her walking out acquitted this week, it's also about her being allowed to just move forward with the focus on getting her child in joint custody at the very least, obviously. That's what this is really about right now, is to get her to move forward. And she's not able to do that till she can get through this week. It's going to be a big week, but I'm predicting success across the board.
I feel the same. I think we're gonna be able to count on the judge. At least I feel pretty confident in his fairness, and he actually wants to know things, which is a nice change, and ask questions. And So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And I know a lot of you have been saying you plan to come to the courthouse and wear your purple and support Kelsey. And what a great, a great look for, we know mainstream media hasn't really been covering this trial. And if we can have people out there with signs wearing purple, that's going to give them something to cover. They're going to pretty much have to cover that. So that will definitely be a great way to keep this case front and center and make them basically cover it. So if you could come for an hour, it would be awesome to have you there. I know it means a lot of on a lot of levels to Kelsey and her family as well. So please come out and support if you can. Maza, I know we haven't really had a chance to talk about the text messages since those came out. What are your thoughts on those?
Well, I was a little nervous about the text messages being released because, when you're supporting somebody, you don't necessarily always know the whole truth, the full truth, their full character. But with the Karen Reed case, getting back to that for a moment, I always felt throughout the course of supporting Karen Reed that over time, I felt more and more confident in my support of Karen Reed. I believed in her more. I believed in the arguments, and even during trial too, when I couldn't possibly think that I believed in Karen Reed's innocency anymore, ARCA did their demonstrations, and it only further convinced me about her innocence. Now, with Kelsey, it's the same thing. And two things this week for me, already being someone that's a very strong, a very strong in my support for her. I grew in support for her this week in terms of my confidence and my belief in her innocence. And the first thing before I get to the text messages was just her in court this past week. I just felt like I'm looking at a woman that's extremely innocent, that is hopeful for an end result. And really you can see the look on her face that this is an innocent woman, and, she doesn't belong in jail, and she shouldn't have never been in jail in the first place. Now, to the text messages, I thought that this established Kelsey as a mother who cares about her baby very, very much. I thought that, reading through it, I took my time reading through it. I was kind of eating dinner in between it, came back to it, reading while I was eating. It's very confidence inspiring in me, because I didn't want to read the text and say, oh boy, that might have been, I can't, I wouldn't want to be like, oh my God, she said this, and people are like, oh, look what she said, But this was all very much like a mother who cared about her child deeply and was questioning the parental guidance of the father of that child, basically saying, you're not a babysitter, you're a father. And that was, I thought, really hit home. And another thing that hit home in terms of, the family model here was that she said, we all live together. You saw in those texts, she wanted to get married. And she even asked, do you want me to cancel the $6,000, where he contended that maybe, somebody was already put down. But you saw her, like, at that point, I truly feel, and this is just my impression, I really felt like she was trying to fight for the relationship. Obviously, it was having its downward cycle, but I felt like she was going down in a manner that was very much attempting to, we can piece this together. We can salvage whatever our differences are. I got that impression. I was very happy about that because I think even when you're a content creator, we're content creators, we're supporters, whether you post on X or not, the last thing you ever want to find out down the road is, oh my God, like maybe I was wrong about these people the whole time. And oh my God, but then you see this and you're only, because I'm a person that's very in my convictions. And this just reassured me that, not that I ever had a doubt, but it just reassured me that the woman I've been supporting has been a woman worthy of my time and my support, as well as the worthy of everybody else's time and their support, including your show, Lauren, and the time you spent on mine. It just, again, just opened up. It made Kelsey look even greater, and it made him look even worse. It made him look like he was flaking out on that relationship, that he was running away, and it made her look like what's going on? Like she even said in that tweet, why, and the fact about, before I yield back here, the fact that she was texting him numerous times over, I don't have a problem with that. Some people would say, well, anybody that texts someone that many times without a response is, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But no, I don't think that that's the case here, because you're talking about a mother of a child talking to the father of her child. And with that, there is it's almost like, you ever watch a circus? And in a circus, there's those people that are on the little bars that swing back and forth. And they're holding each other's arms and they're flipping them, and they got to trust somebody to catch them. Well, if they don't catch them, somebody's going to fall and they're going to get seriously hurt. So there's a level of dependence when you're in that kind of circus act. And with Kelsey, or any woman or man in a relationship, when you truly love that person and you're depending on that person as a partner to raise a child, there's a level of panic when that person is being unresponsive or uncooperative. And that's why you see Kelsey, who again is going through postpartum depression, when she talks about being stressed out, and having anxiety about what was happening at the house. Well, look at the text messages. She was already being stressed out. Stress was being brought upon her through that, the lack of response. Where in the meantime, unbeknownst to her, where was he? What was he getting signed and authorized during all of that? So to me, it made Kelsey look like a great mother. It made her look like a woman that was trying to salvage the relationship. And it also made her look like someone that was being ghosted and really left out, hung to dry, essentially. So I thought that this made her look strong, good, as well as sympathetic. And while there will be no jury to determine this, I still think that that is good from a character standpoint, because when you're trying to defend a client who's claiming that she didn't open up fire on an officer, you need as much as you can possibly muster to claim that Kelsey Fitzsimmons is a good woman. And after reading through those texts, I felt very strongly about the time I've spent supporting her, that I only felt further assured in my support of her that everything was really, it was a good look. It's obviously those texts, before I yield back, sorry, I'm going long here.
No.
Obviously, there's always going to be, in a relationship, there's always going to be arguments. There's always going to be bickering, arguing, fighting, disagreements, people saying a few insults back and forth. So that was all, I felt like that was all within that realm of what you'd expect a typical relationship, either on the rocks, in an argument, to be. It didn't look like Kelsey was over the top. She wasn't making threats. She wasn't really using foul language that I recall, which is good. That's good stuff, because that shows you a level of control. But the biggest thing in that is, again, she looks like she cared about the child more than he did. And she even called him out a few times. Do you not care about this child? And I thought that came true as well. So this was good information. And I think this will be very good in court. I think I don't want to use the term spin as lying, but the term spin in taking something and presenting it in a manner that favors your client. I felt that Bradel and Coakley have a lot of good information to go off of here. And I think that they're going to be it's going to be very useful information for them. And I think if you're Gubatosi right now, I hope that you wear your adult diapers to court next week, because you may be, a little nervous in court. So, okay.
I love it. Yes. No,
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Just from a woman's point of view, that to me is the most frustrating thing, is when someone is just ghosting and not responding. And it can be, I think, very triggering for ladies. Dude, if you don't want to hang out, if you want to go for a walk with your child, like she said, just tell us. Why would you have us go there and do, it's just just be a human being about the way you're treating them.
Yeah.
So I think she showed restraint. I mean, those text messages to me, they came off very calm. I was like you. I was like, oh, more text messages. What are we going to expect? Everyone in their phone, when they're comfortable with people, lets their guard down somewhat and talks more openly. And So I was kind of a little nervous because I know how they spin things in court, and there was not anything to spin. I mean, I thought she
Yeah.
looked pretty great, and so hey, you're losing valuable time with your child by like this, like I agree with everything that you said, and and having postpartum on top of that, like her hormones are going crazy, and I mean, I thought that they looked fine. I really do. I think the judge was spot on with that, and we're so excited to get this thing on the road and see her acquitted and all of that. And I want to welcome our next guest here with us. This lady needs no introduction. She is my queen, the one and only Nurse Kim. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Lauren. I'm great, Maza. Love to see you. I sent the lovies here after a little Feel Good Friday stream because what a week it's been. And we're heading into Kelsey bench trial. And I'm just excited to be here. Last final push for her. Let's effing go. Time to do some justice.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining and sending all the loves. We love to have them. Yeah, I know like it's come up rather quick. I know we wanted to capitalize on the fundraising, but here it's like, it's next week. It's in a few days. So like that's one of the things like this one, we can really try to build everyone up and send in, every single dollar counts. Like it doesn't matter how small, little. We have the amazing Pop and Popcorn going on where you get amazing popcorn and you help support Kelsey at the same time. So please keep those donos coming in for her because we never know what a trial is going to bring and all of that. Nurse Kim, do you want to speak on? We were just talking about the text messages, and I would love to hear your thoughts on them.
Yeah, I was so confused, kind of, Lauren, about them because I was like, oh, we're going to get this dirt, right? Like I'm thinking I'm going to be feeling a lot of feelings after I see them. And when I see what was revealed, what revealed itself, I thought, oh, like a little bit of a letdown, if you will. What was that going to be, in my opinion, for the prosecution in any way, shape, or form advancing their case? It didn't show, in my opinion, any kind of instability, vitriol. It was mundane. I've had more zest in conversations, with Jimmy than I have had than I've seen in these conversations. Okay. I was like, what are we doing? Right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And also when Baker, had that be like wonderful, the recordings of the conversation, of the transcripts that I did a dramatic white woman reading of.
It was so good, by the way.
Well, but I was a better Katie than Katie was. Do you know what I mean? I was like, come on. It was a letdown. I was like, the only person that I felt really just showed exactly who he was is I always thought that Justin sounded more Beavis and Butthead. Do you know what I mean? Like more like, hey
Yes.
guys. Yeah. And I was wrong on that. He was very, very Veruca Salt. And that he was more Kelly Deaver adjacent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it was give it to me, daddy. And he was going to get that. He wanted that detail, and no one was going to tell him no, or that he owed a penny for it. And the way in which he spoke to the officer in charge, to that OIC, to all, like, I mean, it was such an entitled, irreverent, like kind of expression on his part that was like, it kind of surprised me, his tone to that entire department. And that shows a lot of who he is, right?
Absolutely. And it was funny because it was coming on the heels of Katie saying, oh, you're always so nice to people. Oh, okay. Well, here, he's gonna show you who he is the next day. Just wait. And he did. I mean, and he sounded like a little like worm or something. Like I don't even know what that was. Like I don't know. It was definitely not what I pictured him something like. But to your point, like it was something. All right.
Yeah,
Those
and
were
I'm
crazy.
and really just like just shout out to Baker. I know that I know that he does great coverage, and there's just not enough hours in the day for us to. I watch on replay every time that I can, but just all that support, and really bringing that to light in a way in which he did the work and he did that. So thank you so much, Baker. Thank you for all your hard work and fighting for justice in the way in which he does, and from as far away as he does. That shows that this is, internationally something that people care about and care deeply about injustice when they see it.
Yeah, he's just really like a treasure. And it's been cool to kind of see him get fired up about this case. And like the more as it goes on and the more that comes out, him really like reacting to it. So it's been fun just like from an outsider watching. And those audios were just everything. I mean, I was beyond myself when I was like, what? You have them? Like, let's go. I was so excited. And then we were in for the prize of the light. Well, not I don't know how surprised we were, but yeah, there was a lot in those. Mazda, you want to speak on those a little?
Yeah, I thought he sounded very entitled, and he sounded like a 16-year-old kid that he was arguing with his parents over whether or not he could get supersized fries and a supersized Coke at McDonald's or regular size. He just kind of was like that. It's like, I'm not paying a dime for a detail. It's like, well, if you want a detail and you want the police escort or whatever, you're gonna have to pay for it, son. It was just really. It speaks to his character, because especially when you're talking about something here, it has a lot to do with character, especially moving forward with family and probate court, where you have someone like this trying to basically say, Kelsey's not a good mother, and Kelsey's this, and Kelsey's that. And then Tim Brado's like, cue that audio, and the audio starts to play in court in a month. And, what's really going on here? But it just sounds like someone that's really desperate to get what he wants, do what he wants. And, Katie Gerke, who actually sued the North Andover Police Department a few years ago, I think it was sexual harassment was involved in that, got a settlement, still works for that department to this day. Basically acted like on the phone, like you can just do whatever you want. You can just go right ahead. Just knock that door right. If you want to take your vehicle and drive right through that front door, you go right ahead and you do it. Okay. That was basically the attitude that she had on that phone. Even he said his name wasn't on the deed. She's like, just go right ahead. Do whatever you want. Go. It's not a big deal. It was just shocking, very shocking overall. And that speaks to the department. And again, back to him, just his attitude on the phone with the cops, the way he was acting, the disrespect, the entitlement, all of that is just things that don't make him look good. Now I understand people, every human being on this planet, we have good moods, we have bad moods. We all have our moments where we're not so good. We have moments where we're great. Totally understand that. But I'm getting the impression that this guy is probably more often than not someone that acts and thinks this way. And I did not walk away. Like I said, the text, the audio, even someone that's trying to look at this objectively, who's already taken their side, who's already picked Kelsey's side from the get-go, how do you objectively look at this and say, geez, well, I just think he's a great guy after listening to him call the cops, or I just think he's a great guy after reading those text messages. No, it makes him look worse. It makes him look horrible. Even more worse than we already thought, for example. So it's just, again, things that go in Kelsey's favor. It's going to be interesting to see how Bradel uses this in this trial. But it's definitely a set of circumstances. I mean, how can you not sit here and feel like Kelsey was just from the get-go, just absolutely sabotaged, barraged, ambushed, whatever you want to call it, from the word go. It's absolutely sickening, the story. And, I'm looking forward to her walking out of there, and she will in a week. I'm confident in the outcome of this trial. I'll be shocked if anything bad happens. I'll be shocked if we suddenly find out, well, guess what? Judge Karp was actually sinister all along. And, there's a big conspiracy against Kelsey that extends to this judge. I'd be shocked. I really am. And I'm just really keeping myself as even keel as possible. I'm trusting in Bradel, obviously, because Bradel trusts in this judge. Martha Coakley, again, Republican, Democrat, whatever your political party, political affiliation is, throw it out the window, because Martha Coakley's here on a strictly defense attorney basis. And again, you don't become attorney general regardless of party, unless you know your law, unless you're actually someone that can accomplish that, handle that role and serve that role. And again, regardless of party affiliation, she knows the law. She's been attorney general. She knows exactly what the moves are here. They obviously work with Kelsey. Kelsey testified that under oath there the other day, or swore under oath, that she, she's been counseled. She's made this decision through no pressure of anybody else. And I trust in the counsel here. I really do. I think that Martha Coakley brings another level of defense here and experience. Tim Bradel, a defense attorney we've seen defend Aiden, probably some other high notable people as well that I can't think of right now, or maybe have never heard about, but he knows what he's doing. And I think they have a game plan in store here. They know exactly what they want to do, how they want to play it. They've dropped a lot of things on with the security video coming out from Steve, or Father Steve, that came out. Things that they've done to get Judge McCarthy Naiman out of there when the Officer January came forward. So there's a lot here that they have a lot of hands that they're dealing. And it's, like I said, it's gonna be tough for Gubitosi, because I know that there's a lot of aces up their sleeve. They've kept it quiet. There's not, a lot of, we saw this with Karen Reed. There was a lot of stuff they dropped in both those trials that we never knew. We thought we knew everything. And then all of a sudden, Alan Jackson or Unetti or Alessi or Eliza Little dropped something. It's like, whoa, okay, this is absolutely incredible. It's going to be the same thing next week, this upcoming week, next week, whatever you want to say. They're going to drop some things that we don't know anything about. And it's going to be like, okay, wow, this just ups this to another level now. And I question Officer, another thing I would do, my personal recommendation, they can take it or not, is I would question the North Andover Police Department's handling of Officer Noonan prior to him going over her house that day, and understanding what his psychological level was, and where he was, and what their evaluation process was of him after that incident him and Kelsey had responded to sometime prior. And given the fact that this guy, after this shooting, was on critical incident leave, which you'd expect to be standard, but the fact that he had been placed on critical incident leave a second time, that's a suspicious situation. And I'm questioning the North Andover Police Department, how they're handling that, and how they're psychologically evaluating their officers. And if Noonan was indeed fit to serve that day, could it just simply be that Officer Noonan was struggling? Maybe he should not have been on duty. Was he struggling with alcohol, drugs? I don't know. But, it is possible that he might have been unfit. And perhaps maybe in his own innocence, this guy just panicked. Maybe Kelsey did what she did. He wasn't as observational as he should have been. Maybe he opened fire, and maybe they're trying to kind of quell that a little bit. So those are things I'm looking at right now to see if there's any information the defense team may present in court, especially when they cross-examine Noonan this week. I think for me, that's going to be the number one person on the witness stand, because again, he's the whole enchilada when it comes to this case. So those are my thoughts for now. I'm going to check the donations here. I'm hearing it might be up to 241.
Yeah, can't follow that.
Yeah, well, and I just wanted to say, incredible analysis, I think, Maza, but there was also a moment in the calls that I heard the baby cry. And for me as a mother, and hearing Justin just continue on his man-child petulant rant and not acknowledge his baby, right? Like this is who you said that you had such fear, of Kelsey, her family, a fear of ramifications with the father coming down from New Hampshire. And yet when your baby is crying and that's either a hungry cry or a diaper cry, like a mommy knows. And there wasn't an acknowledgement, shh, or and my baby's crying. There was nothing. He just kept going because he was going to do whatever he had to do to get an outcome in which he desired, in my opinion. So that rubbed me really the wrong way. It broke my heart to hear baby I don't want to say the name, but like, our baby crying like that. And that was powerful and palpable to me. Then additionally, you're absolutely correct, Maza, about whom is going to make or break this case. That is going to be Officer Noonan, and seeing what comes next. What is he going to say? Was it an unfitness there? I also, when you mention him going out a second time on that critical incident leave, there was the Flexerol incident. There was the AWOL incident. There is a lot that is going to have to be explained. And the North Andover Police Department has a lot to answer to. This man was also allowed to be on critical incident leave and picking up details. That's illegal. It is fucking, pardon me, sorry, it's your, it is
No,
pooping
no, you're-
illegal. Like, you're not allowed to do that. There are rules and regulations. I asked my dad, he's a Waltham retired. I go, Daddy, if you're out on leave, are you allowed to go and do details? He's like, Kim, absolutely not. That is you're not, that is insane to even say something like that, because that would be time and a half or double time when you're not even doing your usual 40 hours, but you're out doing extra details. Get out of town. It was something was going on, and something in the milk ain't clean, as they say in the South, right? Like that there is something isn't right. And I would like it all to come out in the wash.
Yeah, I think that is going to be huge. And how was he on those Flexerol pills? Like, was it something he was taking when Kelsey was shot? Because if so, that's a problem. I mean,
Huge.
Huge. And I cannot wait to see. I know we're all excited to see if they call justice, but I think Noonan is going to be equally as exciting and just on a different level. But wow, I mean, they have so many questions to answer for, just like you said, Kim. They really do, because things do not add up. And I just can't wait to see what he has to say.
I want to jump in with an additional point. Yes, 261 is confirmed. Thank you, D Stores, for that. Appreciate that. That's a good total there. We're building up little by little here. It's good. Every little bit helps. Now, here's the thing. I want to talk about drug testing, alcohol testing, any issues. Let's talk about, we're going to hone in on Noonan, but we're going to use the North Andover Fire Department for a moment as an example. We know for a fact that Tim Bradle has submitted around 100 to 200 videos of the fiance basically smoking or smoking reefer, cigars, cigarettes, whatever. But obviously in most of those cases, it's presumed to be marijuana. And then the fact that the North Andover Fire Department has a testing policy. And then we're finding out, how could this guy who was recently suspended from the fire department because of the news that came out, obviously relating to that. It's interesting to me that they never picked this up on their tests at all. So getting back to Noonan, if there is a reason to question the drug testing ability of the fire department, then why would there not be a reason to question the police department for the same exact thing? And that brings it back to Noonan. And I'm looking to see some cross-examination of this, and asking, how often do you test your officers? Because they asked for, I think they asked for the fire department, just documentation of how often they test. I believe they did. They might be doing that for the police department. If they're not, they should be, because that'd be interesting to know. Did Noonan ever have any issues with drugs and alcohol? Did the North Andover Police Department ever test anybody? Because, I mean, God forbid you have an officer. We're already talking about a firefighter that was out there serving the public. That was, and this is not an anti-cannabis, anti-alcohol message at all that I'm spewing here. It's only on the grounds that they are accountable to not be under the influence of cannabis, alcohol, or any other drugs while they are on duty serving the public, who are taxpayers that they represent. I want to be very clear about that. It's the same thing with Noonan. If Noonan is not being tested every so often, if he was tested and it came up positive and nothing was done about it, and that officer is to that very day go out, even getting in a vehicular accident. I mean, there's been a story, I think there was a story of an officer last year that was drunk and he got in an accident. I think the officers were trying to cover for him. And the guy was obviously, he was loopy as could be. Now, you can't have an officer on duty like that. You can't serve and protect if you can't protect yourself first. If you can't carry your own weight, you can't carry the weight of what you need to do as an officer or firefighter. So I'm interested in knowing and seeing if Bradel and that defense team has obtained or will cross-examine asking Noonan and other officers, say the Chief Gripe, I think it's Charles Graham, I'm forgetting his name for some reason right now, but I have so many thoughts in my head. But if they hone in on that and say, hey, how often do you test your officers? Has Noonan, was he on duty? Because then all of a sudden you create reasonable doubt now. It's like, well, if you have an officer that's in violation of your drugs and alcohol policy, and he claims that, Kelsey pulled the firearm on him, and he opened up and shot her, and she didn't intend to shoot him, they got some answering to do there. And that also plays in Kelsey's favor that, guess what? Kelsey didn't look like she was intoxicated in that security footage when she answered the door to let them in. And I'm not saying Noonan was any of that, but I am saying, do we know for a fact, does the North Andover Police Department test? How often do they do that? All that's really where I'm coming at with this. Because again, if he violated the drug and alcohol policy in any way, or if there's reason to suspect that they weren't properly testing their officers, and then Noonan went on to have the problems he did, including that Flexerol oversleeping, which was suspicious, because he could be an alcoholic for all you know. Maybe he mixed alcohol and Flexerol. Maybe he mixed cannabis and alcohol. Maybe other drugs and alcohol, for all we know. If this guy has an issue and they're covering it up, could they be covering it up because they don't want that to come out? Because maybe he had that before that shooting and they don't want it coming out after that shooting, because if it comes out after the fact, then that's a cause for concern for the defense to bring that before that courtroom and say, look at this guy months down the road. He had a substance abuse problem. He was mixing it with Flexerol. He went AWOL as a result of that, and this police department covered that up. Those are all things that could potentially be in play here. And those are all things that absolutely help Kelsey Fitzsimmons to the highest level. I yield my time.
Absolutely. I mean, that's they have so much, I think, culpability here to some extent that I am ready for it to come out in front of the judge, because there's no way even just talking to attorneys and things like that, there's no way this is a good look for them. And this alone doesn't prove that she pointed the gun at him. But as a judge seeing this, he's gonna be thinking these things in his head, like, are we kidding here? This is how handling situations like that. And there's no getting around that, whether or not, that has anything to do with the outcome. But it was just handled so piss poor, in my opinion, that you just can't. I mean, there's nothing you can do to make sense of that. And it's going to be a problem.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to read Maza, because just as a first responder in our Commonwealth, it is incredibly important that you are present. And I don't say, when I know Maza and Lauren, when we're talking about, whether it be marijuana or alcohol, we're not passing judgment here. This is not a judgment based. There are plenty of people in every walk of life that struggle with substance use disorder, and especially in our professions of high stress, including police, fire, nursing, dental. There are lawyers. There are a lot of professions that see higher numbers of substance use disorder. But with that being said, we have programs in place, and there are SARP programs. And if you're struggling, you have to recognize that, and you have to seek help. And you don't automatically lose your licensure. You don't automatically lose your job, but you have to get your shit together, because you have others to take care of, right? This isn't something that functional alcoholism or functional drug use can be tolerated in the positions in which we hold. It is not a position of power per se, as a position of protecting and serving in communities that has to be held to the highest of standards. And when I looked it up and I Googled it, Maza, it is what I believed it was. So I just want to clarify. Drug and alcohol testing for officers in Massachusetts is determined by each department, and policy and collective bargaining agreements. We have to remember that our police have unions and our nurses don't, baby, but our police do. And those fucking unions, and I mean this in the most loving possible way because I have a family of police officers, right? But they go to bat every time that they can, and they want to limit response. Well, they want to protect, I don't want to say limit. They want to protect their officers as much as they can because there are a lot of risks or that can come from the community to our officers that could not be true. So they put things in place in which they try to limit the exposure. Okay. It's the way it has been since 1967. Okay. And it is the way it will continue to be until reform is made. With that being said, there is a mandatory pre-employment screening and potential annual hair testing. And that is done specifically in the Boston Police Department. They do hair follicle testing every year to ensure 100% drug-free workforce. Incredible, because hair follicle testing is the gold standard for drug testing in any way, shape, or form. You can't, unfortunately, no matter what you do, you can't hide it in your hair. No matter if you've bleached it, no matter if you've done anything that you can, the drugs will hold in your hair. And key aspects of Massachusetts police drug and alcohol testing, there's always going to be pre-employment, annual and random testing. Some departments, including Boston, require annual hair drug test, reasonable suspicion. Ding, ding, ding. Now, this is interesting because we can say this could correlate to Noonan. Officers may be tested if there is a suspicion of impairment, as they are often trained and recognize these signs in others via field sobriety tests and horizontal gaze, nystagmus, and walk and turn and one leg stand. They'd be able to do that. Testing methods. Common methods include a 5-panel drug test that is only for marijuana, cocaine, amphetamines, opiates, and PCP, and breathalyzers for alcohol. And the consequences of a positive test that results for illicit drugs can lead to termination, although counseling and rehab programs are available in most scenarios. Because again, this isn't a shameful, like there is, for me, at least, I am going to always say that life happens, shit happens, trauma happens. We all have struggled in different areas of our life. We are good, most people are in the gray, right? You're not 100% good, you're not 100% bad. But if you're struggling and you continue to go down that path, that's not the correct job for you. If you can't notice it, recognize it, ask for help, and then get better. So I wish for anybody who is struggling to get the help that you need. And I would be very interested to see just how North Andover's policy and procedures were for Noonan after that incident that Kelsey and him witnessed the year before. What happened afterwards? Was there an increase? And what was he prescribed in conjunction with potential, legal alcohol use?
Right. Yeah. No, these are all huge things. And thank you for looking that up, Kim. That's huge.
Of course.
I mean, I have so many questions. I really do. And to your point, when you're in this professional capacity, working as a police officer, a firefighter, all of that, and you have to basically be proactive and make sure that you're in the right headspace. And just one day, that's exactly what Kelsey did with her postpartum. She knew that there was an issue. She took time and she said, I'm gonna get this fixed because that's what you do. So again, to her credibility, it just builds and builds and builds on what we're seeing from her, whether it be her taking time off to get that straight, whether it be the text messages that are coming out. I get more and more impressed with her, by the day, and how she's handled things. And then you have the opposite from the whole police department or Justin and Justin's family. And just that, the trial is going to be very telling, and there's going to be some potential bombshells. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I did in the sworn, oh gosh, was it an affidavit that came out with all of those highlights about what the use of substances that Kelsey with the fridge acid and all of that. Yeah.
Oh.
So, the most concerning, and I'm sure you guys have already talked about this, but knowing about the firehouse, like the cooking wine,
Yes.
in order for him, I really do feel if that was to avoid DTs, like to avoid you from going into like withdrawals, and just for an educational purpose for our viewers, there are only two things in this world that you can die from withdrawal from, and that is alcohol and heroin. Everything else, you can have the sickest, you can feel like you can feel like you're dying, okay? Going through those withdrawals, but with alcohol and with heroin, you are at risk of actually not making it. So that is why in a clinical setting, what we would do is for an alcohol withdrawal, we're giving you a banana bag. We're making sure your potassium is okay. We're hitting you with fluids, and we're also giving you benzos. So that was interesting. I had to clinically think like a nurse, because I was like, why is he taking Kelsey's, if, in my opinion, why would he be taking
Yep.
her Ativan if he has a hangover? Like, everyone gets hangxiety. Like the next day you're like, oh God, Christ, am I going on an apology tour? No. But
Right.
like,
Yes.
there is, like we've been there. Okay. You went to that Christmas party.
Yes.
Shut up. No.
Yes.
But there is something to be said for, like, I wasn't putting that together. Then somebody in my chat, when we went over it, they were like, Kim, and I go, oh, I like Blues Clues it in real time. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's smart. This is a first responder. And he is saying to himself, in order for me not to have a seizure here, not to have a grand mal, if this is a true alcoholism, taking that benzo is preventing you from going into, a medical emergency. And it really truly is, if you are an alcoholic. So, those are just things for us to kind of rattle around in our brains and know that this is serious, and that it's somebody who is very clearly struggling with substances.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that was a benzo. So thank you.
Mhm.
I just knew like it was for, anxiety, depression, but that makes so much more sense. That is, it's troubling. And I think, they've been a little bit more sympathetic individual. I think we'd all feel a little bit more sorry for him. It's just like his actions and what he's done. We're like, what's going on? But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is it sounds like he needs help. And I hope
I'm going to kick Pat's Coffee and Cocktails ass. Kim's withdrawal is giving Deaver's Garage. Stop it. I know. Okay, sorry. Withdrawal. I can't do it. Withdrawal. I can't.
Withdrawal.
Withdrawal. I'm sorry.
Wait, you can't say that? You can't say withdrawals?
I say withdraw. No, you say it like I say it. You do it, Deaver. We put an R in it. Withdrawal.
Withdrawals, yeah. That's how I say it. Yeah, I do, yeah. I got wicked withdrawals, guy. Okay? I got wicked withdrawals, Nurse Kim. All right?
Son of a gun, you
like
got
wicked
me.
Withdrawals. Yeah, I guess I do too. I put an R on it.
Oh, I can't say it. I'm sorry.
I'm from Boston.
She's a masshole. I'm sorry.
When I have to park my car at Harvard Yard, I get super wicked awesome withdrawals, okay? All I want is my donkeys. My French vanilla. Okay, there we go. A little bit of comedy hour on the show here tonight.
Sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, so that is
there was it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
To me, the firehouse fine was definitely high up there on the list, and then the fridge acid. Like, what are we doing? No doubt, like the baby's bottles were in there. I mean, what is happening? Like, that is it's so concerning. That is how he's living life. I mean, it's very concerning.
Yeah, the fridge acid, guys. I'll never get over it. Hashtag fridge acid.
Yes.
If we're putting I was on another planet, okay, when I'm reading this shit. I go, I'm sorry. Can you imagine going for your roasted garlic that you put in a fucking in like a little I'm sorry, I put it in a little tin foil and was waiting to put my
Yeah.
roasted garlic in my pasta and I open
Yep.
it up and I find the fridge acid. Get the fuck
You're
done.
right.
You're
Yeah.
done, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
You're done. There's no way. And I was like, I would kick your ass so hard your mother would feel it if you ever had fridge acid in my house. Just a note to self, okay?
Yes.
doing?
Yes.
What are
Put
we
a
doing?
no fridge acid
everyone?
sign at the front door. I mean, what is happening? Like, is this is crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy to me. And also, I think a lot of us are like assuming that it's not in the, that he's smoking, but like we don't know. And that's what's scary is that some of his behavior is out there. It is very alarming. And so I personally don't have a lot of confidence that that's what he's smoking. I have questions on that too. So I think, it's very interesting how some of the time, like people who are pointing fingers and telling people like, trying to make Kelsey out to be some demon are the ones that have the demons in, the skeleton in their closets. I find that a lot. And, it just seems to be true.
Yeah, and that's like a high conflict in divorce and family court. And when you're having and I know that it's used an awful lot more today, right? And narcissist or narcissistic personality traits are overused in our society. There are people that are egotistical maniacs. Okay. You know who's an egotistical maniac? His name is Aiden. All right. And we love him. No, just kidding. But yes. It's like, Jesus Christ almighty. Yes, Aiden.
He is our egotistical maniac.
Our egotistical maniac. Not a narcissist in the clinical form. Right. So when you're looking at that and you see the projection, you see it's always the people that are pointing the finger that have four pointing back at themselves. Remember, babes.
Yep.
And they are the ones that everything he accused you of, he is doing. It's a confession. And this, I tell you, will be Kelsey's saving grace, in my opinion. This is going to be where you see that he did locked and loaded, put everything he could on her and thought he had this done. He thought he had it wrapped the fuck up.
He did.
That everyone was buying his story, hook, line, and sinker. Little did they know that bit by bit, as Kelsey sat in jail, for over 100 days after being in Mass General Hospital for over 50 days without contact with her baby for over 6 months, you can absolutely go fuck yourself. Justin, a lying sack of shit, your entire family. And I want you all to know that justice is coming. Bang, bang. Oh, yes. Yes. There's a tiny flipping bird in a box. That's everything. I'm going to need to see that in person when I see you. Okay.
I'll bring it. Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
I'm like, oh, wait, I have a box for you. Hold on. Oh, wait, I have a prize. I have a special. Wait, here it is. Here it comes. Here. There it is.
Yeah. Will you flip me off? Not will you marry me? Right? She should have put that.
Right.
Hey, Justin, I have an answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is when you're on the side of good, when you just see the evidence continue to come out and it makes one side look better, it makes the other side look worse, and that's exactly what's happened here. And it's like a lot of things. Nurse Kim, you and I talked about this the last time we were on this program. Was the Patriots coming back 28-3 against the Falcons, and that last time she was in court there. It was like she scored 2 touchdowns in that comeback. It just felt very big to me. Not the bench trial one, but the one before that. It's this is exactly what it is, because it takes time for the truth coming out. And
sorry,
it's
in
okay.
my pocket.
That's all right. Wait, what? Okay. No, it takes time for the truth to come out. And the problem is that, and I said this about Karen Reed time and time again, the only thing preventing Karen Reed from being free is not whether or not she's innocent or guilty. It's time itself, because she is innocent. And it's just a matter of getting to that point where the trial comes and goes, the verdict's out, and boom, you're innocent. It's the same thing here with Kelsey. The only thing holding her back from being not guilty in a week is that it's going to take a week. The only thing holding her back from having her child again is that it takes all this time to get to probate court, which is why I'm actually in favor of a bench trial, because somebody said the other day, they're like, well, Mazzo, I just think this is someone, I don't know if they were a troll or they just had a difference of opinion, whichever is fine, but I like the argument. I like to entertain the argument. They said, well, I think that they're afraid that Kelsey's defense team is afraid that the jury might come back with a guilty verdict. Well, here's the thing. Whether it's a bench trial or a jury trial, guilty is still a possible outcome, no matter who is holding that. Additionally, not guilty is also a realistic option. However, the difference is you could have a potential hung jury or a mistrial declared. And now when Kelsey's trying to get her child back, they can't really afford to wait another 6 months. Yeah. I mean, it's already been way too long. It's March 20th. We're closing on an April. It's Easter, and we're going to be debating whether we like Peeps or not in a matter of weeks. Okay, I like Peeps. Don't judge me. I also like candy corn. I also like pineapple on pizza. It doesn't make me a bad person, just my preference. Okay, so yeah, I want all.
I'm not bring the tiny baby and Jesus in the boom right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm that kind of person. Okay, people like me exist. I'm sorry, I know. Okay. But they'd be out of business if people weren't buying it. So there's other people out there. It's probably some of you people on their show right now. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, Nurse Kim disappears. But seriously, though, the only thing that this could be a potential disaster if it went to a jury trial, all right, and that jury comes back and says, well, we're divided because half of us see it this way, half of us see it this way. And then you get the judge out here like, look, this is a mistrial. I'm going to have to declare a mistrial. We don't want that to happen. Kelsey can't afford to have that happen because, again, she wants to be on the path to getting her child back. We don't need this thing delayed any longer. Additionally, I also don't know if a jury is going to have the absolute level of understanding because they have to grind reasonable doubt in their heads, obviously. But I don't want to see this come down to people's opinions, meaning I don't want to see a jury sit there and say, well, guess what? We're not sure. Well, I just feel this way, so I think she's guilty. Like, I don't want that situation. When reasonable doubt must be established. So I do think in the judge's hands, it's a more secure option because I do think this judge has shown me trustability so far. And in a week from now, if it turns out that guess what? Hey, how you doing?
I thought I was still backstage. Sorry.
No, you're here. That's all right. Welcoming to the show.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, glad to be here.
I have watched y'all's coverage and your outrage for Justin is fantastic. And I just feel like we gotta get her on the show. So I'm so happy that you're here and can't wait to hear all of your thoughts on the case.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here. And I echo what Mazza's saying as far as a bench trial, and Bob and I have kind of talked about it on our stream. I don't follow a lot of like the social media about the stories and know like what everybody's theories are and what like people are saying. Like I don't kind of get into I don't want to call that the drama, but I just don't have time to even keep up on it. So I don't know what most people think like the motivating factor of the partner to say that she tried to shoot me is. But Bob and I have taken the position with a judge, you have to lean away from corruption in the police force. You have to lean away from this cop is just lying to you. And the way I think of it, the best way to do it with a judge is to present it that, look, because it seems like they're leaning into she was on the way to pointing the gun to herself. And with a jury, I was very worried that they might believe the more you push that she was trying to kill herself and they're saying it was death, suicide by cop. The two aren't too far, although still under the law, they're so close that it should be not guilty. You worry about that, and you don't have that same worry with the judge. With the judge, you're like, okay, you've got two cops telling you a story. Well, but one of them you've convinced me was I'm just using like overly broad language, but out of her
Yeah.
mind at the time. You know what I mean? Not that that's literally what they're saying, but was not her right self at the time. So, and this other one is saying, Your Honor, I'm telling you, I was staring down the barrel. It wasn't on the way. She was pointing it at me. And you have to say that's what his mind told him, because in the fast decision of the moment that a cop has to do, he's heard that she's losing it, that she's violent, that she's whatever. He sees the gun come up and he reacts fast. And it's the way his mind has told him the story, that it was him staring down the barrel. And I would have hoped maybe if the contemplation was a jury trial, there are trauma memory experts who, like I haven't fleshed this whole thing out, but it sounds extremely reasonable to me that a memory expert would say, because I know how they say it in other memories, that the way you perceive it and think about it, that's the way the memory forms. So when you're and I do know scientifically speaking, they say when you're recalling a memory, every time you kind of rethink of it, you're recreating the memory. It's not you even remembering the event. So if in the moment of trauma, it's his partner, and he reacts too fast and pulls the trigger, but convinced himself I was looking down the barrel, but really it was on its way up. And convincing the judge that no matter what he says about I was, and I'm just assuming that's how, firm he'll be when testifying. Like, no. I was, it was X long while I was staring down the barrel. Like presuming he said something like that you'd have to lean into it that way so that the judge doesn't seem like he's left with a decision of, if I say she's not guilty, I just called this other police officer who is not having mental health illness at the time a liar. So you have to make it where neither of them are lying. They are both telling you their truth, but her truth, where there's no way for him to say one is beyond a reasonable doubt. But if you lean too hard into corruption, it puts it, to me, hard for a judge to rule in your favor, because that means he's saying that the public officials, the law enforcement, whoever, is corrupt. And that can be a harder thing for a judge to say than a jury in this climate in Massachusetts, and what they have, to me, what I think the community is well aware of, the level of corruption. And that's where I struggled with jury versus bench, because, in a typical situation, I'm like bench all day. But when it's like a he said, she said like this, you're like, all right, judge all day. But you kind of might need someone to believe that a cop's lying and maybe there's some level of corruption. You're back to, do you need the Massachusetts jury who is very keen on, there's a lot of fucking corruption. Sorry, I don't know if you curse on your...
No, go for it. Yeah.
A lot of corruption in our government right now. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a fact. But I do think the judge was the right way. I just think the defense needs to present it a little bit with kid gloves, so as to not push the judge into feeling like, if I say not guilty, I have said the police department is corrupt.
Allie,
That's great.
You're incredible. I'm so happy to finally meet you. Huge fan of you and Bob. Now, I have one question. Would it change your mind if I present this to you? Did you think that it was weird that in Noonan's sworn testament, that he said, don't do it, not put down your weapon, right? Like, because that would say, like, don't do it is indicative to me of you not doing something to yourself. He's a trained officer. He's been an officer for many years. Lower your weapon, drop your weapon, drop it, or I'm going to, like, those are the things that I would expect a cop to say in an emergent situation, versus what he said. And he wrote it with his own, like, he stated that himself. Does that change anything?
No, I think that that can lean into the difference between his mind, his memory, and his reality. Because, like you're saying, the "don't do it" does sort of speak to him being like, "Don't do it to yourself," or, you know, and the judge may not parse the words that much, but any sort of discrepancy between his mind and his words, might help the whole concept of we recreate memories kind of the way we perceive them. And he's perceiving them the way he almost has to reconcile what he did, not intentionally, subconsciously, you know. And I don't know that you'd really need an expert with a judge to kind of buy that. I mean, you guys all buying that as a potential real possibility that this cop, you know, acted too quickly, thought she might be pointing the be getting ready to point the gun at him, and on the way up, he pulls it before he really knows what's happening, and then convinces himself that she was pointing it directly at him.
No. No, I'm not. Also, am I remembering this incorrectly though? Wasn't there a misfire? Didn't
Yes,
Kelsey?
there was. There were two shots. He missed the first one that hit the air conditioner in the window, then the second one connected. There were two shots. And then they claim that Kelsey misfired. They claim that Kelsey attempted to open fire up on him, but then it jammed. She attempted to re-rack it.
And she says that she attempted to.
She put it to her own head. It jammed.
Yeah.
It clicked. It didn't fire. Then she attempted.
Fire.
Then they claim she attempted to re-rack it. Yeah.
She's saying that she fired it at herself.
Yeah.
That's what I read on that breakdown website. Yeah.
And he's saying she fired it in my direction.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's nothing, nothing it jammed.
But I'm just saying, I didn't know that there were, that either of them had said that, like that.
Yeah. That's actually like kind of agreed by both sides.
Yeah, that the gun did jam was agreed upon by both sides.
Right, but where the gun was pointing when it jammed.
Correct.
Is up for debate
Right.
between both sides. Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Well, that sort of changes my theory that if you kind of leaned into it as to recreating memory, because if he's saying she pulled it while it's pointed at me, you have to believe that he's intentionally, blatantly lying. And that worries me with the judge. So,
okay. Do you not think devil's advocate, and I'm just throwing this out there, I'm so sorry. This is not even, I don't know. I'm just in a stream of consciousness. If, for example, because they went on that call the year before, right, where the worst possible outcome happened with mother and baby. If, for example, Kelsey did put the gun to herself, she goes, she misfires, he is losing his shit internally. He shoots her. He missed her for the first time and then shoots her because he's saying, I don't want her to shoot again at herself and kill herself. Is he shooting to injure, not to kill? But I'm just a devil's advocate, guys. But I'm saying, and then he shoots her in the chest and you're like, dude, are you out of your tits? But that is like, so, and then he had to switch it in that moment to cover his own ass of, oh, I didn't hit her in the arm. I didn't hit her on like the shin. I didn't hit her in any place that I should have hit her in order to disarm her. Then I shot to where someone would say, this is torso. This is like to shoot to kill. And I had to say, she tried to shoot me. Thoughts?
So that is another complete possibility, but it requires, because it's similar to like what I'm saying, that it was just on his way up to her and he thought it was coming at him and he fired too quick. But in front of a judge, based on what you guys have just told me about, that they're both admitting she fired the gun and it misfired. He's saying she fired it pointing at me. She's saying I fired pointing at my head. That for the judge to find her not guilty, he has to believe that the cop is lying. And I think it might have been easier for a jury to believe to say, even in his head and heart, he's like, this fucking cop's lie. He's a liar. But by him saying not guilty, he's telling the world and his, the police force and everybody and the prosecutors, I think your cop lied to me on the stand. So that's why, to me, I thought that this only works if you can give the judge an out where he has recreated the thought in his mind, and it seems a little harder to recreate a memory in your mind if it's the gun pointed at you or pointed at her, unless it goes from pointed at her to re-racking. He thinks it's now pointing at him, but she was going back to her. But I guess I didn't know the statements that they've made thus far, and if that's inconsistent with that, it's rough. But I mean, the
Do
judge
you
can
think the judge could go at all, Allie, with it if there was able to be proven by the defense that there was potentially a substance use disorder issue or with the
the
police
cop?
officer?
I mean, any kind of discrediting of that police officer is going to make it easier for him to
Okay.
say. I mean, look, it's still going to be a he said, she said. So it's
Mhm.
still going to be, the judge is still going to have
Reasonable
that
doubt.
that avenue to
Yep.
say it's reasonable
Yep.
doubt, and to
Right.
just say I just can't. Do I believe? And he could even go on record as saying, do I think that did I find Officer, what's his name, the one that shot her, Noonan,
Noonan.
more credible? Yes, I did, but I still couldn't find beyond a reasonable doubt that his version was the truth. But it's just
Hard.
yeah, it's hard because I think it's easy. I think it's common for any real person who is not being judged by their answer to say, of course he's gonna lie about it now. Like you just
Yeah.
said,
Right.
that I meant to hit her in the arm and I didn't, and oh, what am I gonna say now? I'm just gonna say she shot at me. But
Yeah.
again, when you're asking a judge to make that finding about a cop, there's so many more implications, and that's what worries me. And I didn't realize that the statements went that far. But I still think there'll be enough to work with to where the judge can craft his response in a way where he's saying, like, all right, this is not me saying that the whole police force is corrupt, but I'm still saying that you've got two law enforcement officers telling two very different stories. They both have potential motive to lie. They both do.
Yeah.
Him
Yep.
because of the bad shooting, her if she did it. So they both have motive to lie, and I cannot say beyond a reasonable doubt that one is more truthful than the other.
It's walking that tightrope.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though I did find him slightly more credible, there's still that reasonable doubt because they both have motive to lie. And that's all I'm saying. And that he could put his hands up and rest on it like that.
Here's my kicker, though, Allie, and I'd like to just bring. This is something I'd like to hear your thoughts on. My attitude is this: is I think one of the most telling things about this entire is I always believed that even before I knew for a fact of the two shots, the first one was missed first. I always thought the first one missed first because I thought he had a knee-jerk reaction. Now, one of the things I take away from that is,
and I'm just to understand correctly, now we know it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, that she misfired before he ever filed. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm trying to say, I'm just focusing on the two shots he took specifically without. So this is going to be just take Kelsey out of the picture for a moment, just
I'm
for
with
the
you.
analysis. Yes. So what I'm saying is that the fact that he missed that first shot tells me one thing. It means he reacted very quickly and he miscalculated his first shot. Now, what that tells me is if he can't take the time, I understand a situation, whether or not he perceived she was going to her own head or going to him, can always result in a misfire. But if he cannot properly aim his firearm at her and hit her in one shot, that tells me one thing. He rushed. He was moving very, very quickly. And if he couldn't be sure enough to hit his own original target, the first shot, how could he be sure of what her intent was with that firearm? That's one of the things I look at and say to myself, can that be an angle that the defense can use to say this guy missed his first shot?
I think absolutely. It creates
Yeah.
chaos in the scene, chaos in his mind. And again, that all affects memory and how you're perceiving events. And like the more you can kind of shift it like that, I think the better. So I think that absolutely helps. That if he was calm-headed, if he was even keeled, he would not have missed. I don't know how far off he was, but I think that's definitely an argument for chaos in his mind, chaos in his body. Like he responded too quickly. He didn't even line things up right. Everything was happening too fast for him to not only make a good shot, to make a good decision, and to know what was going on.
Right. It would be a judgment assessment on him in terms of his discretion, how he perceived the incident, how he handled that situation. And if he rushed so quickly that he missed his first shot, how can his testimony of claiming that she went to go open fire on him be credible if he missed? Or at least it could be argued or stretched to some degree by the defense to say, hey, look, Noonan wasn't on top of his game right here, No.
So are there theories out there that Noonan is just intentionally was trying to kill or hurt her and is lying just because? Is that what many people think? Because I honestly don't know.
I don't
There's
think
been
many people,
Yeah.
but I think it is there, but not the overall consensus.
Because I just think if the defense leaned into any version of that, you're scaring off a judge.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think
Yeah.
so too. I don't think that there's any, like, for me, like, I heard that theory early on, but the more information I learned, my attitude is as if those police officers had intended to murder her blatantly, or if he had intended to murder her blatantly, she would have been murdered. The fact
Right.
that she was revived, they took the time to revive her. Even when an EMT fled the house, if a fireman with EMT training fled the house, they still attempted to revive her, get emergency services there. So definitely, I don't think it was a hit. Not at all.
And like you said, there's a missed first shot. You don't,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and I think
I
too,
think it
like,
was a panic and a
Yes.
covering
Yeah.
of ass, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes,
Right. I think he
agreed.
messed up. He overreacted. It's just like the beginning of Copland, where the officer overreacts, lights up a car with bullets, and that happens sometimes. People panic,
Mhm.
they overreact. But again, that brings it back to, do they drug test their officers? Was this drug on any kind of drugs? When's the last time they drug tested him? Why, after he was placed on critical incident leave and cleared to go back to work, why was he placed on critical incident leave again? What was going on with this officer? Why did he oversleep? Why was he AWOL? These are questions that build questions about
Yeah.
that officer,
Reasonable
going back
doubt.
to his judgment in that bedroom. Definitely, Nurse Kim.
Yeah, and I do think I would still combine the two. I'd still give the judge the possibility that he has recreated his memory because he, responded too quickly. He made a bad decision. He did whatever. And it's not, try to lean into a way to be like, this is the way his mind recreated the memory. Or, Your Honor, you've got two people with a potential motive to lie, depending which side of the, table you're on. And that's reasonable doubt. They're two
Yep.
potentially equally plausible stories from two law enforcement officers.
And as the chat is bringing up too, I think the fact that Justin amped those officers up before they went in that house with the fact that she was going to be coming after them and shooting, that I think will also play in her favor.
And someone in our chat, and I wish I'm horrible because Bob will probably remember, I think it was a her, but his or her name had brought up when we listened to those 911 calls. We were like, no, that's not really going to get into evidence like that. What is that? But, and she pointed out, well, one of them that happened beforehand is him amping up those officers, showing that the officers are already on alert that she
Right.
is dangerous, that she is violent, and that, and if there's some evidence that that same information was given to the other officers, then that the point that your chat's making is well taken, that they came into this thinking she was dangerous and violent, and that all clouded his everything. And bringing in what both of you guys are saying, you've got the misfire, you've got the, maybe he was trying to just, he was under the pressure from that what you said, the worst thing that could have ever happened. I mean, that's PTSD. That's,
Yeah.
so all of those things
With their aftercare, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So put
Kelsey
all
had gone to
those,
that call too. So you have to think, now you have two officers, same department, that had gone to that same call, and in less than a year, they're in that moment and in that time. And we're all human, babes. Like, and this
Yeah.
is something that I think we all have to really remember, although we see police officers in sometimes some of the worst cases of overreaction or panic, this one specifically, you're looking at two individuals that had just gone through something so traumatic and together. So I never look at Noonan as much as he is he is a player that things went wrong. And I think that he had to, if Kelsey were to not make it, of course he had to say, I was
Right.
protecting myself, right? Because at the end of the day, there would be no trial. There would be nothing else. So he's thinking to himself, shit, I've now made a choice here. I've got to go to the end of it. And I think that he had the backup of that department in its entirety. And then you had fire jumping in because Justin had been the person who like lit this gasoline, this fucking dumpster fire into action. That's Justin a lion, period. Right. And
that's a huge statement.
Yeah.
It's a huge statement, Kim, because again, he primes those officers up. I mean, to the point where basically, should they have worn tactical helmets, gear, bulletproof vests? Should they have brought SWAT? Should they have brought the bomb squad? I mean, that's basically the way he was on the phone with them. He was talking her up like she was basically Uma Thurman and Kill Bill. And if they're not in the top of their game, they're all going to be, severed, basically. I mean, that's the way he was talking her up. I mean, it was just absolutely...
But to play the counter argument, that the judge will see on like the flip side of it is, well, there was a certain level of maybe not the violence, but the level of necessity here that is indicative of the fact that she actually did point the gun at, by her own words, point the gun at her own head and pull the trigger. So that tells you, well, some of the urgency
concern,
was valid. But I still think in my heart of hearts, you cannot convince me that this guy wasn't acting like a raging, drunken, high, whatever on this bachelorette party, and that this was a fight of her trying to say enough's enough for the night, like you need to bring it down a level, and that's what what turned into this whole fight. So he's feeling attacked because a woman angrily, probably, I'm just, spitballing here and making my own assumptions. So even if she's angrily, waving her arms around, screaming at him, embarrassing him in front of his friends, that's like the end of the world to a fireman, and his wife screaming at him in front of all of his fire friends about, either putting him down, complain, whatever it was, and that he just perceived that as this woman is now flipped her shit, and he just created his own script around that. But then you have the flip side of it. Well, there was some level of seriousness to her mental state at the time, given that she actually did try to unalive herself.
Could I say devil's advocate though, again, now like other side of it though?
Yes.
Is like maybe, just maybe, Allie, had they not come in like bats out of hell, removed her baby from her arms while she's breastfeeding, come in with multiple officers. Now you've taken my baby from my arms. Now I know my job. I'm shit canned with my job. Fuck Justin. He's dead to me. And you've taken the one thing that I was struggling with postpartum to depression. I've just got myself out of that fucking hole. And now you've done this to me. What do I have to live for? What do I have left in this moment? Just saying, like, if like, yes, she did it. Yes. And she'd be the first one to say it. But when you're looking at the totality of how it went down and how inappropriate, without having a mental health professional, without having the best team there, without having anyone else, a social worker, no one else in place, you just have these brutes come in and take your baby, give it to the man who you're like, I don't even want you in this fucking house. And now you've stolen my child. Like in that moment, horrible decision was made.
Right.
But that was an impulse in that moment for harm of self versus other. Just saying. Just throw it.
No. I 100% agree with all of that. But I just think that the judge has to accept there was some level of concern for her mental state, given for all the reasons you just said, for none of the reasons that he put in or he said, for all the reasons you just said. But it does reflect that she was struggling with her mental health to get to that level. Now, you make some very good points that I would hope that this case would be like the poster for what the fuck are you doing over there when you're going to come to take a baby from a mother and someone that you are I'm assuming, I can't remember his own pleadings, but his own pleadings are saying she's having mental health issues to not have a social worker there. And I thought they sent DC like the equivalent to DCFS when they're taking a kid out of a house.
They should.
Yeah. Well, they should. I used to work for them. So
So
Absolutely.
like a
They
social
should.
worker, somebody, and this is why are they going in with were they in there like guns drawn kind of thing, or they just came in like aggressively? And I don't even know all of the facts about how they came to take the baby. They're ripping the child from her arms.
What's interesting is that I just wanted to say to Lauren, I know you're having trouble with your visuals tonight
I
on this camera. It
know.
may be best to exit out of your entire browser. So don't exit out of the tab, exit out of the entire browser, close all your windows down, exit it completely, then reopen the browser, log back in. That might fix the audio.
Right, because we've
visual.
got your stream will stay safe with us on here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect.
I love you
All right,
guys.
let me
I
try
have to
again.
go. I have to drive a
Kim.
15-year-old out to her friend's house. Thank you so much, Allie. I'm the biggest fan. I think you are everything. You are bae. You are everything. Maza, have some wings this weekend. Lauren,
will.
I love your face. I'll see you next week. Bye, lovies. Be
Yes.
good. Go, Kelsey. I'm donating when I get off. Bye.
Thank you, Nurse Kim, so
Bye.
much.
Thank you, Kimmy.
Nice to
We love
meet you. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
guys, I'll be back.
I agree with everything that Nurse Kim said. I think those
Yeah.
are the circumstances that led up to that. I'm just saying that the judge will accept, well, some of his concern must have been, you just have to accept that the judge is going to find stuff on both sides, and
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to convince him of like a straight corruption thing, but you can tell by his calls to the police that he was feeling entitled, and he did expect them, get your higher ups on the phone. He did expect them to do whatever they were going to do. If you have a situation where your police department knows there's an issue, and let's say that they believe she's got a mental health issue. They just saw her there earlier in the day with the
Right.
baby.
That's
So
correct.
how crazy do they think she is?
Right.
They could have said, can you swing back in? So and so wants to see the baby. I mean, I don't know. Can you swing back in? We've got to do X, Y, or Z. And then sat her in a room and told her what was happening and broke it to her, easily or whatever. But it's just, it's kind of the whole thing is crazy. And the part that makes me the most angry is that they would deny her even believe everything Justin said, believe every word Noonan said. She should still have supervised visitations with her child.
Yeah.
She should still be able to breastfeed her child at least once a day to keep that bond, to keep for the child. Bob's always like, and you can just present it to them. It's like for the child, which is true.
Right.
For the child. It's like how we got to a point where the wheels of the family court move so slow that her child has gone from a infant to a baby to a 1-year-old to over 1-year-old coming up.
Yeah, just about. Yeah. Yeah.
Is like horrifying to me. Horrifying. Like women in prison get more rights with their babies. Women in prison where they let them breastfeed and they put them in a special area where they get to bond with their babies for a certain period of time. To just rip that child away and act like what by even both accounts, it was a spur of the moment thing that happened in the midst of a mental health issue and in the worst situation that could have arose for someone already struggling, acting like her leaving the house is putting the whole community at risk. Like now she's just going off, like just popping people off on the street.
Right.
It was an outrage, but you can see when I say the struggle with the judge, you can see that because no matter what that judge thinks in his real mind, in the sense that he gave her the ability to get out of her parents' house and go get her own house. But he said, everything the judge did before me was right. I would have done all of those things, whether he believes it or not, because that's the outward picture. A judge there's a level of politics in this,
Yes, that is correct.
And
100%.
that's why I feel like you've got to give him, that some little reason to say maybe he wishes, she was pointing it at him because he acted too quick to really know, but that's what he's told himself. And now that's what he's created in his mind. Or like we said before, You've got two law enforcement officers, both with a motive to lie, depending which person you believe. You know what I mean? And that's reasonable doubt, hands
Yep.
down.
Yeah.
But he
Allie,
did.
what do you think of?
No, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I was just going to ask what you think of them presenting it in a way also that protocols weren't followed. So I know when I worked with DCF, when DCF would have concerns of safety, they would have an officer meet them out there. That officer's job and their only job was to go inside, clear the house, make sure there were no weapons, make sure everyone was safe for that DCF worker to go in there and then remove the child. And the fact that they didn't do that first before everything else has always been my position, that they quite literally put that gun in her hands. And I just feel like there's also a protocol thing they didn't follow. What do you think about them presenting that also? Do you think that would play well with the judge? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that that's an important issue to go back towards the motive to lie. But I also think that would have been more important to a jury for that exact reason, that they've got reasons to twist the narrative here. They didn't follow protocol. They could have done this, they could have done that, and they know that's what the whole public is going to be thinking. But again, that argument to a judge is harder, although I still think you can make it, but soft pedal it and present it as, hey, both sides have motive to lie. You've heard arguments from both sides that they have motive to lie. And Your Honor, they cannot prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt because they can't prove which one is lying.
Right. And I just think that it's interesting too, the lack of protocol on this. And I think the concern is that these officers, Aiden Carney has joined us. These officers couldn't.
Hello, Aiden.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, Aiden?
Good.
Hey,
Welcome.
Aiden.
Thank you for
What's going
coming.
on? Sorry, I'm in the car right now, so I'm not cam ready, but just wanted to stop by and say hello.
Have you
Thank you
listened
so
to
much.
anything we said before this to chime in or not really?
I've listened to absolutely nothing. I just
Okay. we were still kind of talking about the judge versus the jury and the fact that a Massachusetts jury, not with a lot of help from you, is now very keen and aware of the real corruption that's going on in the police forces, in the courts, and in their counties. That it, if you're going to use the corruption and the flat out Noonan's a liar angle, that's a easier to play maybe to the Massachusetts jury right now. And with a judge, you'd have to soft pedal that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying. I just know from experience with Bradel, he likes bench trials, depending on the judge. Like, thing about Bradel is he's been practicing law for like 35 years. He knows like every judge, right?
Right.
He's got some story with all of them. You know how it is. Like when you're lawyers become judges, right? And so like they go back. He's got some story to tell about every one of them, almost. And he knows,
you come up in ranks together. You do trials together. You have cases together. You negotiate.
Right.
It's But go on.
You just develop like a vibe with a certain judge, and you're like, I like the vibe. Like they just get a vibe from him. And like I had a bench trial in June, for violation of a restraining order, and we went bench because it was just like, I don't know, and bench trials are so much faster, so much more efficient. You don't have to keep getting the jury out of there every 5 minutes if they're not supposed to hear something, and they don't have to wait 3 days for a verdict. So I don't know. I think he likes his chances. How are you going to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she was pointing a gun at him? How are you going to do that?
Right. And that's what we've been saying too. No matter what, it's a he said, she said of two people that are both law enforcement. And if you give the judge any reason to say that I can't credit either one 100% over the other, that's reasonable. That's reasonable doubt.
And Aiden, that's what gave me confidence in Bradel too with the bench trial, because as soon as he mentioned that, that's exactly what I thought, that you had gone to a bench trial and had won. You were very successful in that. And I kind of said to myself, well, Bradel obviously knows when to go for a bench, when to go for a jury. And like he did with yours, you won. And I'm saying to myself, because as soon as he started to indicate that day you were there in court there, with the media, I said to myself, he must know that this is going to be successful with this judge. I definitely have the confidence in Bradel for this, just based on the fact that he won it with a bench trial for you last year.
I mean, the judge, last time we saw this judge, he let Kelsey, he dropped the restraining order with Kelsey and her baby. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and he allowed her to move out. Like, he was
Right.
really good to her at the last hearing, right? And so, like,
right.
why wouldn't you run with that? Like, you know, like, I don't know. How do you prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Noonan's telling the truth and Kelsey's lying? Like, how do you prove that? It's one word against another. And quite frankly, it's not logical. Like, her story is more logical. It makes much more sense if a woman who is suffering from postpartum depression, right, and suddenly has her baby ripped from her arms, wants to end it all, as opposed to the police take the baby and she's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shoot my way out of this, and then I'm going to take the baby back and live happily ever after. And which story is more believable?
Right.
100% agree. And you know, I had said, because Bob and I don't know all the back details like I'm sure you guys all do. So I was like, at first when I said the whole, well, they're saying murder, they're saying that in the heat of all this upset, that she's so upset about losing her kid and what's going on with her family, that it's more logical to say she was going to shoot her old partner than shoot herself. And Bob was like, well, no, suicide by cop is you just point the gun, because we did not know, as Mazza just told me, that he's saying she pointed at me and fired, but the gun did not fire, which goes right back into what Aiden said. How is that logical that that's what she would be doing? Why is she killing her old partner? She, you know, like,
I mean, what was the next step after shooting them?
Right.
I mean, he doesn't have the baby. You still have 2 more cops to kill, right? Like, what's the plan here? Like, and then what? And then what? After you killed 3 cops, then what? How's a cop knows more than anyone what's going to happen after that happens. If you shoot a cop, like, she's not stupid. So
that's right.
I don't know. I think she's going to take the stand. I don't.
I agree.
I'm sure they'll try.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. You know, it's, you know, they're going to bring, I don't know Kelsey, like, as a person, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's in her past as far as, like, relationship stuff. Like, this was a toxic relationship. You can read just like those text messages. I don't know who's in the right and who's in the wrong. You know, they both have issues, I think. But unfortunately, you know, she takes a stand. They're going to exploit that. They're going to bring up the bachelorette party. And
but Aiden, she has to take this in this scenario. She
has totally
to.
Does.
Right, because otherwise they have one story, and that's she was
you don't want to be like
you
don't want to be like Brian Walsh and say this whole thing happened, and then you never enter it into evidence by taking the stand.
Right.
Only one person can tell this story, and it's her.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I don't see how she's convicted. Even if she was convicted, which would be, I don't know the implications of that. She wouldn't go to
5
jail.
years. About 5 years maximum.
Yeah, but she's already done 6 months. They're not going to
exactly.
Jail, you know?
Right.
Like, and so, like, but I don't know what the implications. The real battle is in probate court, like getting the baby back.
Yes.
I don't know if a conviction makes it harder to do that.
I think that it absolutely does.
Yeah.
Because the conviction would be unrelated to.
Yeah, but
you know, I mean, really, I mean, it's between.
I think it would absolutely make it harder. And one of the worries that I have when I think judge and I think politics, and I think he's got to worry about his image and the possibility, and Aiden, what we were kind of talking about before, is with the judges faced with 2 cops, but only one of them was in the midst of a mental health, issue to the level of her, by her own words, trying to unalive herself. And he's that you don't balance those 2 with equal weight, and the worry that could he just say guilty, time served, probation, just because it's easier. That, like, that's the the struggle I have sometimes with the judge. But again, I think that you could give him enough rope where he could find her not guilty without it being a statement, the equivalent to a statement of, I think Noonan's a liar and the whole police force is corrupt.
Yeah, I suppose that's an option. It is crazy how the law works. How, like, depending on the judge, you could get a completely different outcome. Because I was
Yeah.
always under the impression that like
Yeah.
the law is supposed to be the law. Like it's not like depending. Well, it's the law depending on which guy is sitting in the robe up there. Then the law is
Right.
different. Like, like that's just wild to me that we have to think like that. And I do think that Kelsey would have been sympathetic to a jury. The more female jury, the better. You know, younger female.
Yes.
Right.
Mothers. You put a jury full
Right.
of mothers on there, you'll never convict her.
Yeah, it
But,
seemed that
you know?
Bradel was worried that a jury will think, okay, postpartum depression, she was out of her gourd. She very well could have, done
Yep.
something so out of character as pointing it at her partner. And he could tell that the judge was not seeing postpartum depression as like you're a complete total lunatic. You're just going to start shooting the whole police force to think that you can get your baby back and run away. Like that there was no risk of that jump with the judge. But I don't really think that there was that big of a risk with a jury to take it that far either. But you roll the dice with a jury.
You do. We saw that with Karen Reed. Like, I still can't believe 9 people thought Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe for the car. That's still wild to me.
Yeah.
Right. And that
smart people. Like,
and Aiden, that becomes
Right.
like literally the poster for why you can't trust a jury. Because every time we go into these intellectual debates, I say, but what about the first jury on Karen Reed?
Right.
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 It's wild.
Right.
Because Bob and I say it's like jurors have one job, and that's to find, like, only one option, and that's to find people
Yeah.
guilty.
Go
It's
listen
the
to my Ronnie.
rare-
Go listen to my interview with Ronnie. You'll want to
Yes.
bang your head against the wall. Like,
Sure.
you're like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
That's what was happening in the verdict room? Oh
Right.
my God.
Right.
Hi, sorry, we're talking over our new guest arriving.
Hello.
Emily is here.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for entertaining me during bedtime routines. So Carter's asleep now, and I'm here.
Of course.
Aiden, why do you think that the police department didn't just say, look, we're going to handle it this way. We're going to call her into the police department, and we're going to tell her we just need to talk to her
Right.
and say something.
That's
Right.
a great question. That is a
It is.
great
Yeah.
question. It's like after either way here, how did imagine she died? Like the lawsuit
Right.
her family would have with the police department. Like you did what? You served her, an armed woman, right? Going through postpartum depression. You just blind. She had no idea this was coming. She's been talking to this douchebag all day, texting with him. He doesn't mention anything about going to get an order. Then they show up with a piece of paper, 3 men, armed men, and just snatch her baby up. And then she gets shot somehow. Like
Right.
how? Like lawsuit? I don't know.
Right.
I hope
Yeah.
she sues her.
Oh,
Cancel.
she's got one. Oh, for sure. Considering
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that they didn't think to maybe secure all the firearms in the house first. I mean, that may have been a good idea.
Yeah.
But they didn't
Yeah.
do that, did they? That's unbelievable.
And we saw the real reason, the real motivating factor in that phone call that Justin made saying, but she's saying she's going to take my baby out of state and we have to stop this. Oh,
For the
now,
weekend.
right.
For
For
the
the
weekend.
weekend.
It's my turn with the baby. It's my turn.
Yeah.
She's not giving me a
My
turn.
turn.
There
Yeah.
are no turns. There's no
Yeah.
agreement. You
Right.
haven't been to probate court. There's no turns. Okay.
Right.
Like she
I
said,
will
this
say-
is your house. Like you live here with me. You've left the house. If you want to see the baby, come on back here.
Right.
Along those lines, the like Massachusetts conspiracy theorist in me is only worried about this little piece that's like, if they find Kelsey not guilty, that's saying what was done to her was wrong. Here you go with your lawsuit, have fun. And the conspiracy theorist in me worries that a judge doesn't want that to happen, regardless of how like fair this judge is.
And I think that is a legitimate current that goes into
Really?
all of the things I'm saying about politicking, like that depending on how the defense presents it, can the judge feel like by me saying not guilty, I've said Noonan's a bald-faced liar and the police department is corrupt. But that's why you have to kind of schmooze it, and the judge can use words to protect himself. He can say, although I do find Noonan more credible than Kelsey, I cannot say beyond a reasonable doubt that this is what happened. And you can probably expect some sort of language like that as a cover your ass, because he can cover his ass from it. But even that will still make it easier for her to sue. But it's
Can I
not.
ask you, Bradle's been highlighting in some of his filings, there's a clause in like the post commission, something that basically that like cops are not allowed to use deadly force on somebody who's threatening self-harm. Is that a route that you think would be the right one to pursue in terms of what you're saying?
You mean with the judge?
Mm-hmm.
I think that one is more like saying, and that's why he's a fucking liar, but I do think you have to lean into that, because I think Mazza or somebody was also asking about highlighting department violations.
Yes.
To say to the
Yeah.
judge, look, he has motivation to lie. And then the judge can say, even though I found him more credible, I acknowledge he has motivations to lie. The department stuff, the statute that you just said, the oops, I fucked up. So now I can't say that
You
I
shot
was
a
just
cop.
trying to, right. I was just trying to disarm her. You shot a cop. You're going down.
Yep.
Yeah. And when he first gave his statement, they have to assume she's going to die. They're
That's
about to have a dead cop on
Right.
their hands.
That's what Nurse
Right.
Nurse Kim just said the same thing, or was it?
Yeah.
Unless it was you, Maz. Somebody just said the same thing, and that's very valid. He had to right there. He could not say anything else, just in case she died, and then there's no way to backtrack. You killed somebody. That's reckless homicide at the
If
worst.
she dies, he risks indictment.
Right.
That's right.
Like there'll be a grand jury in his future. Whether or not they indict is another different story. But like, he has to lie. No, he doesn't have to lie. You could do the right thing and tell the truth. But like, suppose he got trigger happy, like
Right.
suppose
And it's all those things you guys are all pointing out that makes me go like this with the jury and the bench, because again, it's a Massachusetts jury who, with the assistance of Turtle Boy and everyone else, is very aware of the corruption in the police departments, in the
Correct.
courts, so you telling them what all of you just said, then they're like, well, yeah, this fucker has every motivation to lie. But with a judge, you have to schmooze it a little more so that him feeling like, by me saying, if I say the words not guilty, I have just said this guy's a corrupt son of a bitch and he lied in my courtroom. That it has to be like
or I don't know. Maybe he could be telling the truth, but that doesn't mean he's guilty. That doesn't mean she's guilty, because he could be telling the truth. You haven't proven that she's lying. Like, you haven't proven that he's telling the truth. He could be telling. It doesn't mean, just because you acquit her doesn't mean that Noonan's lying.
Correct. That's why I'm saying that you got to schmooze it in the way you present it, so he doesn't feel that way. But no matter even how they present it or he feels it, he can use the right words. Like I was saying, like, yes, I found him credible, but still there are motives to lie, and I can't say beyond a reasonable doubt. But I think all the points you guys are making do make things harder for a judge. But there's workarounds, including the way the defense presented it. And Aiden, I mentioned when you weren't on, one of the ways is to say, he's not flat out lying, Your Honor. One alternative is, this is the way he's recreated the memory in his mind, because he never intended to shoot and kill her. He jumped, he rushed. As Mazza pointed out, the first shot, what didn't even come anywhere near her.
The air conditioner.
Right. He was like, he was chaotic in everything in his thinking, and he didn't process it right. And he made a harsh, wrong decision. And he's not flat out lying. He recreated the memory the way he thinks it went down, because that's the way you deal with trauma and da-da-da-da-da.
If this department cannot be trusted to follow protocol when it comes to, I thought they served the RO inappropriately. Aiden said it earlier. They could have served it someplace else. Additionally, even if they served it there, boy, they entered that home really quickly. Boy, they didn't secure the firearms. They let the situation get out of control. And it goes back to the fire department. Did they drug test people? Why was someone that's allegedly, based on 200 videos, smoking reefer, which is a violation of the department policy, why is that not being enforced up until the point where Bradle points that out? The same thing can be said for the North Andover Police Department. What are their protocols? How are they enforcing things? And if they cannot be trusted to enforce protocols, if they cannot be trusted to have DCF present and secure all firearms before they do proceed to secure that RO, then how can we in any way, shape, or form trust Noonan's testimony that he handled that situation appropriately? Because if they can't handle other things appropriately, how do we know this officer was properly trained to handle or judge that situation and overreact by misfiring his first shot, then connecting on the second one? There's a lot of questions, and this is for me, there is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt here, and that's why I think she's going to be acquitted.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel pretty confident as well. I do. And,
Yeah.
and as Mullen Law points out over here, a judge understands a moral certainty more than a jury. And that is true. I just think a little bit in the way you present it has to be schmoozed. So you're not just straight out saying you're giving another option than just Noonan's decided to lie about this, as opposed to, well, his mind helped him recreate this lie and he believes it.
It did make me hopeful in that last hearing when the Commonwealth fought so hard to get those like mundane text messages in as like proof of Kelsey's state of mind. And then the judge even said to Bradel, like, I think these actually work better in your favor. And like for him to come out and say that, I was like, okay, this guy like sees things clearly.
Yes, for sure. I would be shocked if he found her guilty on a he said, she said. They're both cops. Yeah. They're both cops. So, and they both, if you believe one side or the other, then you have to believe they both have motive to lie. And you cannot say to a moral certainty that one is telling the truth of the other. And I honestly can't imagine a world where she gets found guilty.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yes. Amen.
And remember, we wouldn't be here if the North Andrew Police Department had body cameras. I mean, when this happened, it's 2025. There's no excuse for that.
Yep.
Sure. Aiden, you've got to get the community working towards going to whoever they need to say when they have a restraining order that requires taking a baby from a mother, they need to have a social worker there. This is not, you don't rip a child from a mother. You talk them through it. You talk them through how it's a short period of time, how you're going to get into court quick. Even though that sounds like bullshit, considering how even the judge joked when Bradel says, who knows what month, maybe it'll be August. And the judge jokes back that the family court's so backed up. He's like, August of what year? Like, that's disgusting as well. But there should never be a case where armed officers are just going in, handing someone a petition and then taking their kid. Like that.
Well, and not only that for the mother, but there is no safeguard in place that ensures that the baby is being taken by the safe parent. So all Justin needs to do is go file a 209A and say those cutesy little buzzwords like, I'm in fear for my life and the life of my baby and the life of my friends and blah, blah, blah. And then they read it. I went through the timeline today of the time from Justin's first 911 call to when they entered the house. He calls 911 at 2:10 and they enter the house at like 4:50. So in that time, he wrote up his whole deposition, went to the courthouse, filed that, they read it, approved it, sent over an email to the police, got the police to her house and took her baby. And at no time during that were they like, let's make sure that like this man is a safe parent for the baby to be going with. They didn't go check his house in Stowe to make sure that the baby was going to be in a safe environment that night. There's no follow-up to ensure the safety of the baby. And it's like, this is not, if you're really concerned that much, you call 911 and have them respond to the house as an emergency. Like that's how we all use 911. It is wild to me that there's this additional level where you can just find this back door and kidnap your child.
Right.
Legally.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And then they have the man who's taking the child in the home as if that's not going to escalate the situation.
Sure.
It's crazy.
That is exactly what escalated it, because in her filing, she said when they went upstairs, there were two officers. It was like Houston, I think was the other one. And then when she heard that Justin was there, she said, keep him away from me. So she sent that officer back down to keep Justin away. And that's how the two of them ended up alone. And that's why we have this he said, she said.
There's just so many protocols that were not followed.
Correct.
There just were.
Yeah. All right, guys, I hate to tell you this, but I've got to get off. I got to pick my daughter up. It was great meeting you guys. Nice talking to you again, Aiden. And
Likewise.
way to go, all of you in the chat and the donations. Keep it up. I mean, look, justice requires money, and no matter what side you're on, you know, you've got to arm the defendant with the ability to defend herself. And a lot of wrong things has happened here. And considering that Kelsey needs money in family court as well, whatever the public can do that helps with this, with the criminal case, or if it helps with the family, I don't know how the fundraisers, you know, set up, if it matters either way. But this isn't your typical situation where she just has to pay this criminal lawyer. She's got the fight of her life just to have her child back. So I thank you guys for doing this. It's very great. I thank all of you in the chat for donating, and I'll get off and donate as well.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet
much
you.
for your
Thanks,
insight,
Alex.
Allie.
Yep. Bye, guys.
You're the best.
Bye, Allie. Love her.
Mm-hmm.
What great point she had. I think
Yeah.
everything
well,
she said made a
Anyway,
lot of sense.
I got to get going too. But I thought I'd stop by and say, my bad. I meant to come earlier at soccer games and shit. But
No, thank
I
you so
appreciate
much
all
for
the
coming
support as
by.
well, and I'm looking forward to this trial. This is something new content.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
something else to talk about, like
Right.
besides drama and Karen Reed. So
We can
Yes,
go back to
yes.
drama free, Aiden.
that was it was okay. People like drama free, and you were a great sponsor.
Emily's got more
but-
stickers. She's got drama free 2.0 stickers all ready to go.
Mhm.
Badges or whatever.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
We don't
This
put
wasn't
pressure
built
on
to
anybody. This is your choice. But when you're ready, we're here.
Yeah, drama's so good though. Like once it tastes your lips, like you can't. Oh my god, So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thank
Well,
Take care,
look
Aiden.
forward to seeing you.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you later, Aiden. Awesome. Guys, keep those donations coming in. Remember, this is the last fundraiser before the trial. So things are going to come up. Expenses are going to be had. And also, remember, in the Karen Reed trial, lunches were a huge thing with her trials. And those are expensive because the team is more than one person. So them having to have lunches every day and transportation to and from the courthouse, the attorneys are going to have to stay, somewhere, and that costs money. So this is kind of the last push for, getting her prepared for the trial. So it doesn't matter how little your donation is, every little bit adds up, and it will really help her be equipped for this upcoming trial to fight. So keep them coming.
Absolutely. It looks like we've gotten some popcorn donations as well tonight that have come in as well. Looks like a few purchases have been made. That's great news.
Yay.
Yep.
Yay. Maza, I know people in the chat before the show were saying they want to know what kind of popcorn you like. So I wanted to make sure to ask you. I know you have your favorites.
Sure. From the popcorn store, my two favorites are the cinnamon toast crunch style popcorn. That's one of my favorites. Now, my attitude about the popcorn store is I like, you kind of want to buy the flavors you normally don't have often. So like butter, like I love butter popcorn. It's my favorite when I go to the grocery market, but I can have butter popcorn all the time. So I like to get something a little bit different. Buttery caramel is one of my favorite ones from the store. Now, strawberry shortcake. If you like strawberry shortcake, this is a great flavor. Like I just love it. It's tasty. But the cinnamon toast is the one that I recommend the most. That's my personal favorite. I haven't tried cookies and cream yet, but that seems like it's great. And then there was another one I had once that was hotter. It was bacon. Actually, ranch is really good. I tried ranch. It's like basically ranch Doritos with popcorn instead of tortilla chips, which was good. Where's the other one?
Interesting.
Those are the two I ordered, was the ranch and the toast crunch ones. And I was like, okay, you sound good. So I haven't got them yet, but any day now.
Yeah, you're going to be eating it so quickly. It's going to be, the bag's going to be half gone after the first day. It's just that when you start eating it, you're just going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't stop.
Yes. And I'll just say, these are great snacks to have while you're watching the trial. So whether you're watching Melanie Little or, Court TV, whatever you're watching, have some snacks, have some popcorn. You supported what's going on the screen, and that's a good feeling. So order that popcorn. They also have other goodies as well. Also, Kelsey's Amazon wish list. Someone just posted the link to that. I know a lot of you love seeing what you're actually putting, your money and then seeing it purchased on a screen and having that visual. So we know a lot of things were taken from her that, she had long before Justin was there. So she's kind of rebuilding her entire life along with her profession. So that's been a huge help. And if you guys can do that in any way or any capacity, please check out her Amazon wish list as well. And I know the mods will keep posting that as well in the chat.
$4 away from $1,500. $1,500.
All right, guys, we got this.
Yeah.
I also just
Awesome.
feel like our donations just help Kelsey kind of like win over Justin, like in the moral sense, because Justin is just working, living his life. He can't put gas in his car or do anything, but he is set up right now where he could move out, get his own apartment, be living with the baby, parenting, doing all the things. But no, he's just like still at mommy and daddy's house, like in his childhood bedroom, and needs mommy to be daycare because it's like too scary for him to like have to confront a daycare teacher that like sees right through him and sees his soul for what it is. And then Kelsey, from everything that she's going through, was able to sell her house, put the money towards a down payment on her new condo or townhouse or apartment, whatever it is. And she paid for 12 months up front. Like, who can afford that? And she's setting up a whole new life for herself in a nice town where she's going to be able to set her child up for success. And I feel like our contributions to her also just help that like moral win of like, I am just better at life than you, and I win.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm sorry to be back. Hi.
Oh, hey, Al.
No,
Bob will
never.
kill me. Bob will kill me. I forgot to mention that we are covering the trial on Defense Diaries. So
Yay.
hopefully, I know
Thank you.
there's a lot of creators, but you can bounce around.
Yes, absolutely.
love
And
that.
you should bounce around. It helps support everyone. Everyone has a different take, and that's the beauty of this community. So everyone also check out Allie and Bob on Defense Diaries. They're going to be covering it from start to finish. So go over there and show some love in the chat.
Oh, that means there's
Thank
going
you
to be
so
good
much.
next witness videos from this trial.
For
The more
sure.
people that cover it,
Yes.
the better the next witness videos are.
All right, now I'm going to go finish
Yes.
my donation.
Okay. Thank you, Allie.
All right. Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye. Yes, go check out Defense Diaries. Their stuff is great. They have podcasts that are insane. I think Buried was the latest one. If you don't know them, Bob, his dad is a defense attorney who represented a serial killer. And so they have amazing content.
John Wayne
amazing,
Gacy.
amazing content. Yes, John Wayne Gacy. And it is just, it's great stuff. So go check them out. And they're both attorneys. So all the knowledge, it's really cool. Yeah, to your point, Emily, like, I mean, I can't see that looking good in family court. I just can't. And I'm so upset that it won't be televised because I think family court is going to be where some major bombs are dropped. But I just can't see a judge looking too favorably on the fact that Justin can't seem to grow up. I mean, I know it's hard out there for everyone right now. Like, times are tough, but at the same time, when you have adults in their 30s all living like at mommy and daddy's house still, all of them together, like never leaving, never growing, never evolving, it is a little concerning. And so I can't imagine just the contrast of the judge seeing where Kelsey's coming from and what she's done, and how stable her environment is and has been, to seeing Justin's, which is why I think they wanted her to stay in her parents' house and under house arrest under their control, because they needed her in that house to make it look kind of on an even playing field, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. You know what line was like a very underrated one in those text messages was when Justin said, I can't do it today. Can we just meet up and talk tomorrow? And Kelsey was like, you literally work tomorrow. And he was like, oh, shoot, I forgot I work.
Right. Right.
Like, oh, did
How
you
do
also
you
forget to change your
work?
underwear? Do you need somebody to remind you to do
Right.
that too, sir?
Brush your teeth. I mean,
Mhm.
what is happening? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oof, we
Yeah,
just got a big
it's
donation. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got a big
yay.
donation that came in. We're over $2,000 now. Wow, $500
What
donation just came in.
amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. You guys are incredible. Keep those coming. I think so many people feel so passionately about this case, and we can't make the charges go away. We can't take the pain from what Kelsey's going through, but we can help support her fight. And that's what these platforms are, with the fundraising is doing. So you really are making a difference. And I know personally, like Kelsey and her family, it means so much to them. And they are so thankful for everyone who's donated, shared their story, told someone about their story, prayed for them, everything. They are so thankful and grateful for everyone's help.
In the last 6 minutes, there's been donations of $20, $100, $50, and $500.
Oh my
$25,
gosh.
$50 came
Amazing.
in. Yeah, it's been those smaller ones too, those $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 donations. When they come in bundles, you have 10 to 20 people packaged together, a bunch of those, it all adds up. It gets you to the next
Yes.
100 even quicker. It's amazing. It really
Yes,
is.
absolutely.
I feel like as women, there are so many of us that have dated a Justin or know a Justin or
Yeah.
have a friend who was dating a Justin. And for me, it is so heartening to be able to do something monetarily and do something to really show our support. Like in those moments where you're being gaslit and all you want is for somebody to tell you that you're seeing things clearly. Yes, never date a Justin. And the problem.
Yeah.
You know what?
Great
the
sound
problem
advice.
is that the Justins don't start as Justins, and this Justin, I
Yes.
bet you, did not start as a Justin. And for the first however many months of their relationship, Kelsey thought that she had found the perfect man, that he was doting on her and he's handsome and he's a firefighter and he wants all the same things that he wants to be a dad, he wants a baby, he's a good friend, everybody loves him. You don't know that they're a Justin until it's too late. And
Yes.
then when they start to become this, you start to go a little bit crazy where you're like, I don't understand where the person that I fell in love with went. And you're trying to get them back. And it's what I hear in Kelsey's text messages is her just trying anything to be where is the man that I fell in love with? Where is that person? Was this you the whole time and I just missed it? Are you different? Am I different? What's happening here? And all she wants is for him to say, when she's asking about, sending the check for the wedding, she's like, should I mail the check? Should I mail the check? She's not asking about a financial decision. She's asking him do you still want to marry me? You proposed to me, you got down on one knee, we took all those pretty engagement pictures. Where is that person today? And he doesn't exist.
Right. Exactly. It's that gaslighting that many of us have experienced and is so prevalent today in the dating world. And, having been in a domestic violence situation in a relationship that I was in, they don't start out that way. Otherwise, they would never get, anyone.
No.
They start out by
No.
being charming and sweet and loving. That's how they get you. So it's the same way with the gaslighting that happens to get you in. And then you kind of see the real them kind of slowly and you're like, huh? So yeah, absolutely.
And they're so charming. Even in the 911 call when Katie was like, you're so kind to everyone. That's how they are, because they're not going to be able to get away with it. If they're being a jerk to the entire world, then people will be like, Kelsey, get out of there. They're on her side. So they're a perfect little angel to everybody else. So that when she goes around and says Justin did this, Justin did that, they're like, not my Justin, but I'm on his side.
Exactly. And they bank on that. because then they can say, oh, well, they're crazy, they're delusional. You know, I would never do that. You know me, I'm so chill. You know, absolutely.
They love Kelsey was acting erratic.
Yeah.
Oh, was she? Or did she call you on your bullshit?
That's right.
That was just erratic. That was
exactly.
out of character.
Yep.
Right. That can happen too psychologically when people take a stand against someone. They've had enough and they start to stand up. Their behavior is perceived as acting out of the boundary of how they're used to them acting. And then they begin to try to put them back in that, suppress them back into that bubble that they were once in. And once that bubble explodes, like it did for Kelsey, and she starts to say, hey, look, you know, whatever about your behavior, they don't like that. They don't like that. They start to fight back. And again, this is, I mean, what's really was striking about those text messages were some of the things she was saying, and that when she starts messaging him and there's no response, like that whole section there.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, my attitude is this, it's like, why not? I mean, look, I just think that, you know, whatever people want to do in their lives in terms of how they prefer their relationships, they want to be married with kids, unmarried with kids, together, whatever they want to do is fine. But I just think that Kelsey in those texts was trying to salvage it to whatever degree she could. And it looked like she was pleading with him, like, what's going on? Why aren't you responding? Why are you ghosting me? It was her really extending the olive branch to just try to reconcile this. However, it was not really met with anything. And when it did come time, all of a sudden an RO was being served. It was a peculiar situation. But it's just striking to me that, you know, it's one thing to get upset with somebody or have a disagreement with somebody. A lot of times we as human beings will give other people the cold shoulder for a while, maybe give them the silent treatment for a while. But usually it calms down. Usually after a while, you're like, you know, maybe I'm just being too hard on so-and-so. Maybe I'll just reach out to them and say, hey, look, I know we fought earlier. I'm deeply apologize for this argument, this disagreement. I'll be home in a bit. Let's just have a good night. Let's just put this behind us and move forward. And really in those text messages, Kelsey essentially gave him that opportunity to do that, to just, because I mean, look, couples are going to fight. They're going to argue. They're going to rip each other apart. You never know when a frying pan is going to be thrown your way. It can happen from time to time, especially with older generational couples. I'm just making a joke there. You know, my grandparents, I mean, I used to sit in the living room. I used to cut my grandparents' lawns on every Saturday for years during the warm weather months, because I wouldn't mow the lawn during the winter, obviously. But I'd be sitting there, and they're in the 80s. They're going back and forth, back and forth. There they go, back and forth, chirping at each other. And they're both looking at me like, can you believe the other one? And I'm like, I'm not taking sides, guys. People know mass media doesn't take sides, and mass media wasn't taking sides 20 years ago, okay?
Mass knew who he was at a young age.
Exactly.
He did.
Exactly. So they're going back and forth, but couples bicker. I mean, my folks, same thing growing up. They'd argue, they'd be like, oh my God, maybe my parents are going to end it. No, they're perfectly fine. All's well 20 minutes later. That's normal. But Kelsey in those text messages is essentially trying to like communicate and be like, hey, look, let's whatever. You know, she even said, are we still going to get, you know, she was even offering to put the $6,000 down to get married. I mean, she was still considering at that point to marry the guy. This guy basically decides to deal a devastating hand to her that literally nearly has deadly consequences, that leads to her nearly ending up, you know, in jail for a much longer time. Thankfully, she was able to get out by passing those tests. But this has been, you know, just insane. But I just, maybe I'm just different than him, or different than other guys that are that way.
You
There's a lot of guys that are very different. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are very different. You know, there's a lot of guys that are like, look, this is still at the end of the day my woman. This is still at the end of the day my child. And I just don't understand why anyone in their right mind, and I'm not saying it's just about him, but at the end of the guy, why in your right mind as a guy would you ever want to take it upon yourself to raise a baby by yourself? I remember my dad saying to me, what was it, 10, 15 years ago, whatever, we were talking, and he says, I don't know how the hell I would have raised you kids if it wasn't for my mom knowing so much about raising babies. He goes, your mom knew so much about raising babies and taking care of them when they're crying, all that stuff. Like,
Aw.
what guy doesn't want to have the woman with them to do the motherly things that us guys are just not equipped to do, which is probably most things when it comes to this? It's just, why would you not want to repair that? Why would you not want a relationship with someone like Kelsey, who seems like a very wonderful person, has a great career, wants to be a mother, has an intent to marry you? Those are all things that are positives. And just to not only throw that away, not only, not just say, well, it's over, let's just take joint custody and goodbye. This is basically going all out, literally sending the cops to the house with an RO, all this stuff going down. It's extremely intense, when I think that this entire situation could have been reconciled in less extreme measures. And while both sides may argue the behaviors of the other, I still think that this could have been done in a lot more of a civil way. And if it had been done, we wouldn't be here talking about it on this show, because I don't want to come in here and criticize people, even if they are the worst of people, or people I don't agree with. But in this particular situation, I just would have recommended that this could have been resolved. And I feel like Kelsey had the door open to bring about reconciliation to some degree, even if that meant that the engagement was over, the relationship was over, but hey, we'll split custody of the child. Fine. Would have been an acceptable compromise. But I just think that this thing went to an extreme that it didn't need to. And it didn't help that the North Andover Police Department was absolutely atrocious. And if they're listening, you guys were atrocious. Look, we wouldn't be here talking about it if you guys handled the situation appropriately. It's just the bottom line. Your department should be investigated by the authorities that can investigate town-based police departments. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. You could have had body cams on. You guys could have secured the weapons. You guys could have handled the RO serving outside instead of doing it inside the house. You could have done it in a multitude of ways that would have been more appropriate, that would have led to a less consequential outcome that led to a violent outcome. And if Kelsey, if Kelsey had ended up shooting them and killing an officer and going downstairs and shooting it out, that would have been their responsibility too, because they didn't properly prepare the situation. They didn't properly contain the situation. And there's a lot of responsibility for this police department that does not necessarily inspire much confidence in me in their ability to do things properly. And I can't have much faith in Noonan, with that said, in his ability to handle the situation in the bedroom the way he did as well, where if a gun was jamming, why open fire when you can simply being 2 to 3 times? I mean, you see the size of Kelsey in that video. You see the size of him. He's probably 3 or 4 times the size of her. He could have easily made it 10 feet across the room, restrained her. Kelsey, what are you doing? Knock it off. Put the gun down. My goodness. Anything like that could have been said. And it's just absolutely sickening to me that Kelsey's had to go through all of this, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. I truly feel like the system and the set of circumstances have failed Kelsey Fitzsimmons here. I feel like she was placed in a situation. And again, look, this is a woman not only with postpartum depression, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. Even if she didn't have postpartum depression, this is still a terrible incident to be involved in. And quite frankly, when you're blitzed with so many things at once, how can your mind not overreact in a situation? And to Lauren's point earlier, when you're bringing in this fiance that's had the RO placed, and she's learning the baby's being taken away. If Kelsey had in fact reacted the way that they so claim, how can you blame her, or how can you not see that as unrealistic? Because you're putting someone in a situation where they feel boxed in, they feel caged in, and they're either going to come out swinging, or they might turn into a suicidal. They might go a suicidal route potentially, as Kelsey has claimed, which is the story and narrative I believe. This is a situation that can get extremely out of control, and I just blame all the parties that are involved in this. I think that the fiance could have handled the situation better with her. I think the police department could have handled out the carrying out of that RO much, much, much better, 1,000 times better. I'm not even a cop. I'm not even a trained cop. I've never been through this entire process, but even I, as someone that's not trained, that's not a professional in that business, in that industry or a profession, would have handled that a lot better. My goodness. I mean, why would you not secure the firearms? Why would you not maybe serve it outside or someplace else? These are things I feel like they have the responsibility to do. They have the responsibility to not only protect and serve the public, but to protect themselves as well. Had Kelsey Fitzsimmons drawn a weapon and opened fire and killed Officer Noonan, that also would have been a tragedy. But again, it would have been the police department not carrying this stuff out appropriately. And that is the absolute reason why we're here. Kelsey Fitzsimmons is here because of the decisions her fiance made. She is here because of the decisions the North Andover Police Department made. And that is a travesty. That is a tragedy. That is unacceptable. And I don't like the fact that I don't care if she's everything they say she is behavior-wise. I don't care what they say. I don't care if she had been drunk one time, had been out of control, had done this. It still could have been handled appropriately. He could have still come to the center of the table and said, hey, look, I don't like your behavior. I don't approve of it. I don't wish to be in this relationship more and more. I do understand that we do have a baby involved. I'd like to just go our separate ways with joint custody, and we'll take it from there. That would have been a reasonably acceptable thing to do. But again, going all out in that manner creates a level of chaos and division that can get extremely hostile. It can be extremely dangerous. And I don't like the way this situation played out at all. I wish it could have been handled differently, more fairly to Kelsey as well as the child. And I think the fact is that this ex-fiance, as a result of his decisions and what he's brought to Kelsey, is now reaping real life consequences as well, where he has been suspended from his job because someone like Kelsey Fitzsimmons has been in her defense team have been dealt a situation where they must fight back as well and reveal footage that's now damaging to his career. And it amazes me when people that are anti-Kelsey Fitzsimmons like to go out there and start spewing that, well, look what Kelsey did and the defense team did to him. Now that baby's going to live with the father that can't afford to take care of him. Well, once again, the only reason why we're here is because that was the decision that he made, perhaps with the decision of others that were involved. And this is, look, all is fair in love and war. And when you start to throw stones at people, people live in glass houses should not throw stones. And when you start to go out there, never, what's the saying in the Spider-Man movie, never hunt what you can't kill, and in this particular situation, when you're trying to say all these things about Kelsey, when you're messing around with a snake or an animal or any being that has the ability to fight back, it's going to bite back. And it doesn't matter if they're good, bad, or indifferent. When you mess with somebody, they're going to retaliate. And when you go all out on Kelsey Fitzsimmons like this, and you try to say she's this and that, and you think she's a bad person and she deserves to be in this set of circumstances, don't think at some point she's going to start to fight back and say, guess what? My career is over, or my career is in limbo. I haven't seen my child in 6, 7, 8, 10 months. I've been to jail. How are they going to have any reservation about saying, well, guess what? Here's 200 videos of you smoking marijuana that we're going to play, and now all of a sudden you're suspended from your job. That could have all been avoided too. They both could have walked away without any blemishes if he had made the right decisions. If he had kept it controlled, if he had kept it relaxed, this all could have been a circumstance that was very controllable. But again, now he is in a situation where now his career could be on the line, where his career could be over, where he could have just gone to work every day and done his job and gotten a paycheck. Now Kelsey's had her hand forced here, where she's now having to do some damage back to him as well. It's sad to see. It's sad to see that this has happened. But for Justin, it was his decision. For Kelsey, it's now her way of having to fight out of this set of circumstances. She has no other choice. Look at this. Look at the way everything's stacked up against her right now with probate court to follow. It's devastating to see everybody in this situation. And I wish it was handled better. But I don't think Kelsey deserved that. And no matter what they thought of her, they should have given her her rights and freedoms as a human being to have a say in all of this and manage it, because she was open to managing it with them, as based on those text messages. And that's why I think those text messages were extremely favorable to her. End of rant. I'm going to go check the donations.
How do you do that?
No, fantastic. I know.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Everyone if I had a penny for every preach Mazza preach, like, yes, Mazza rants, we would have a lot more donations in the pot because we had so many.
Right.
Yes, this is a great point here that I haven't personally thought of. I think Justin let the cops or the DA see all those medical records. I wouldn't doubt it, but I've never thought of that. And there's no telling, and that's why I hope we get the text messages from Justin to those police officers that he was in contact with up to and after the shooting.
That really stuck out to me because the cops knew that she wasn't a threat to her child. And I know that because in the 911 call, when the one where Justin's sister gets on the phone, they're asking
Yes.
Lieutenant Whitaker, did Kelsey know anything when she was at the police station earlier? AKA, you and all these other officers interacted with Kelsey and her baby at the police station earlier. And then you said, bye, Kelsey, see you later, have a nice day, and sent her and her child on her way. And that order, that 209A, is meant to be like, this child is in imminent danger. If this mother spends the next 15 minutes with that child is going to be hurt. The mother is going to hurt herself. We need to take that child immediately. If that was truly the case, then the police officers don't say, see you on Monday. Oh,
Right.
bye. And they knew she wasn't a danger. So
Yes.
yeah, I hope that they all get training on the most innocent end of it and something else if need be.
Agreed. And you know that they saw her at the police station that day with her baby, and she was probably a doting mother showing off her baby, and
Rachel said they were
obviously no
taking
one had concern.
pictures. Yeah.
Right. And then that
And
video footage from the police station goes missing. Come on.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
mean-
like, you can picture like somebody in a mental health crisis, like they show up, they haven't showered in days, they're wearing slippers out of the
Yes.
house, they're wearing mismatched clothes, they don't appear the way you normally picture them. The baby has a dirty diaper, they have no clean diapers there, they have nothing to change the baby. I'm positive that if that was the case, they would have voiced that and they wouldn't have let Kelsey leave the station. The fact that no, they were posing and taking pictures and catching up with her means that like they were fine. The baby was safe. Kelsey was fine.
That-
Justin was the problem.
That's such a great point, because that is, those are the signs of someone who is in a really deep spot. And there was none of that. There was no claims of that, even by Justin. And so certainly if there was any signs of anything, those trained professionals at the North Andover Police Department would have seen that and been alarmed and would have done something. And that didn't happen.
And it was just odd to me that none of the officers on any of those calls voiced any of that. Like at no point, even just a little seed of like, even a little bit of their like internal voice, none of that came out where they would say something like, Justin, like when I saw Kelsey today, like she seemed fine. Like she was
Right.
asking about you. She was talking about your guys' wedding coming up. She said you're sending the deposit. She said you guys were sending the save the dates. Like there was no point when they kind of like brought him back to reality. They just let him spiral. And when he's doing his like, good day, sir, they're just like quiet on the other end. Like, why are we not? Clearly, this is not a normal 911 call. This is not the way that like if you or I, who don't get to just use the police as our own personal bodyguards, called 911. He, asked for the manager, was telling his story.
Yeah.
And so you would expect that they could have a little bit of a different response where they could say like, hey, Justin, you know what? Like Kelsey seemed fine. Like, tell me like specific examples of what's been going on. What did she say? You keep saying, oh, something bad will happen. Something bad will happen. Like, what did she say will happen? What is the credible threat? And they never ask that. And they never like bring it back to reality.
Exactly. They have any curiosity or ask questions, which is their job as police officers. They're trained to do that in every case that they come about. Excellent point again. I mean, none of that was done. He was running the show. Lands clearly running this orchestrated, planned event. And the fact that officer, I think it was Whitaker, even said the plan in his 911 call, that's a problem because that does not look good whatsoever. And it certainly didn't play out well.
Oh, I gotta hop off. I've been playing phone tag with my best friend and she's calling back right now, so I gotta run.
Okay.
All right, Emily.
Thank
you so much for
Bye,
organizing this. You guys are the
Emily.
best.
Take care, Emily.
All right. See you soon. She's the best. We love her. She, if you guys haven't seen Emily's timeline, she put it all in a very awesome format and she went over it in the last couple of streams. So go check out Emily C if you have not already, but you probably have because she's great. Maza, we are getting down to the wire. We got 30 minutes left. How much more you think we can do, guys? I think we can do a little bit more than we've done. You guys are so generous. I like I said before, Kelsey and her family just appreciates it so much, and this is all we can do. We can't take away all the things that have happened, but we can help support her in her fate and trials day. So if you guys can donate anything, whether if a few dollars or more, it is very well appreciative, and everything. If you can't, that's fine as well. The family is big on prayers and believes in God. So, send a prayer, tell someone about her story, advocate in that way. And, everybody can play a part, however big or small. So it all counts. And, but yeah, I mean, Maza, it's crazy. It seems like we've been doing these for like a while now, but we're actually at a point where it's going to happen next week. And this is all going to hopefully be over and behind her. And she's going to be in a great place to take custody, or at least have equal custody of that beautiful baby boy.
Absolutely. It's incredible. I just want to say, subscribe to Common Sense Investigator. I looked at her subscriber count before the show. It just seemed like a while ago she was getting to 1,000 subscribers, but we want to push her to 2,000 subscribers. I think she's at 1.75K. Please help Lauren build up her channel. Lauren loves to use her channel to not only talk about stories that are important to her, but also to help people out, such as Kelsey Fitzsimmons, which is absolutely fantastic. So be sure to subscribe, share this channel as well, promote it. I know I shared this stream on YouTube as well as on X, just to get this show out there. And Lauren's doing a great job building her channel, getting many great guests as well, as we've seen on the program today and on other shows. And I've actually met a lot of people that I didn't know before through Lauren's show. And Lauren's just done a great job. As you guys know, I've been doing my fundraisers for a while and had Lauren on, and Lauren came to me with great ideas about doing fundraisers every week where I didn't. So we'd have a fundraiser every week. And this has been a great program, Lauren. Absolutely grateful for it and thankful for it. I'm always sure I cancel my plans. I'm like, whatever day you need me, I'm there. I don't care. I got to be on your fundraiser because I want to help out. And, I'm just so thankful for you as well, because you've just added another avenue of financial donations for Kelsey, as well as a place for people to join up. One of these shows are not only great for fundraising, but they're also great information sessions and interaction sessions where people can discuss the latest topics, but also become educated. There's a lot of people that are learning this as they go. Even myself, a couple of weeks ago, I did like a 5-hour stream just to educate myself to a higher level, and literally was sitting there studying this stuff for 5 hours live on camera just to get more and more knowledge.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was a good one.
And I felt so much better afterwards because I understood everything so much more. Now people ask me a lot more questions and I have quicker answers. And I was saying to myself, boy, like there was too many times where people would ask me stuff and I was like, I'm not sure, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't want that anymore. I got to get more educated. So I just was grinding my head to just study and learn more about it and learn more facts. And I think that's great for everybody because we want people to be educated on the subject so they can tell other people about it. Lauren, that's what you've done again tonight by hosting this show, is not just raising the funds, but also giving people the opportunity to learn, hear from yourself, hear from your guests. I think every time we do these shows, we're not only telling people how we feel and how we see things, but we're also learning from each other. Every show, you ask a question I haven't thought of to someone like Allie, for example, on this show. And it's like, well, it's a great question I didn't think of. And Allie provides an answer I may not have known before. So it's great where we can all learn from each other and continue to build information. So I thank you again for the show. I got 10 o'clock cutoff time. 22 minutes to go. UConn's playing tonight in the first round of the NCAA tournament. UConn's my basketball team. I just jump on their bandwagon every time they're in the March Madness. Minute 11. I just pick a random team. Like UConn's my basketball team. Like 20 years ago, I'm like, that's my basketball team. I just love their programs. Yeah,
I like it. I've heard some of my friends only cheer for certain teams because of their uniforms and their colors. So it's more than that. So.
Yeah,
Maza, thank you for the kind words. But I have to literally just tell you, you are the one that paved the way for this whole fundraising. And I think everyone knows that. And it has been fantastic. And it is literally seeing what somebody can, the huge difference that one can make just in using their channel for other things, you know, to fundraise for someone who needs the help and for somebody that you're passionate about. And I mean, just on Maz's fundraisers alone for Kelsey, Maza, you'll know the total. I don't know, but it's our irony. Go ahead.
Over 42,000 on that show. You've been on most of those, so I figure at some point we're probably just gonna have to combine our totals and just say we, you know, shows that we were on together. We raised so much. It's our total.
Yes.
It's everybody's. I mean, it's everybody that everyone that even donated so much as $1. You know, has pushed that forward. Allison's in the comments. She's running the popcorn store. She ran the popcorn. Yeah, her and her communicated about it. When she was getting that set, we talked about the popcorn store because there were two for Karen Reed. So I made sure she had the one that was the second popcorn store was better than I think it was Double Good Popcorn was the original one, but Pop and Popcorn was better across the board. Once we switched to that, Nick Rocco did. He switched because the anti-Karen Reed trolls were attacking the original Double Good, and Double Good booted us. So he found Pop and Popcorn, and when we did Pop and Popcorn, I liked it better because you not only had popcorn, but you had a multitude of things you could buy: cookies, candies, flavors of popcorn, all that stuff. Not only that, their popcorn actually tasted better, and it had more popcorn in their bags. So it was like when Allison came to me, I'm like, this is the store you want. She got that all set up. She worked with the Facebook page, made sure that was pushed, got me the link, made sure I could push that out so we could get that moving. And recently, some people in the Rat House Media chat saw me in there chatting, and they said to me, Mazza, we need another popcorn store. And I didn't know if we were going to do another one or if Allison had any plans. So I messaged Allison. I said, Allison, they want it back. This might be a great idea. I said, because they're 1 week out. So Allison got right on top of it. She got it completely organized, got it set up. She came up with a great plan, which was to open up the store from the 16th to the 23rd. And she got that rolling for everybody. Which was fantastic. So Allison Wonderland is in the comments. She has been another person that has been an integral factor in raising money for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Her first popcorn store raised about $5,000. Presently, the current popcorn store is closing in on over $3,000, but closing in on $4,000 with a $5,000 goal. There's 3 days left. Actually, I do have the popcorn store link now. Let me share that. And so she's been doing good because I mean, it's, you know, fundraising is one thing, but it's and this was what I think Allie was pointing to is like, okay, great, I've done fundraisers on my show. Okay, great, I've raised $42,000. Okay, great, but I don't have the time to run a Facebook group. So you have other people out there that run the Facebook group. They get that going. That's what we need. And then you have people out there like Allison that go, I'm going to do the popcorn store. And then you have other people that we're going to do North Shore Nacho Night. And it has to be like no one person can do everything. It has to be a group of people that each are like for me, it's I'll do a show, I'll do a fundraiser. You know, you'll do a show, you do a fundraiser. You have to have people at every level that can, you know, like Allison, she takes care of the popcorn store for us. That's going to raise roughly 10 grand. I mean, 10 grand's a lot of money. Huge. That's huge.
It's huge.
And, yeah. I mean, that's a big contribution. Then you have the Facebook group. They're operating it. They're keeping people informed of court dates. They're setting up event dates. That's very important. So people know where to go, what days, where they can be. That's all important. And Allison, I might do a popcorn booster show this weekend. So it won't be a give, send, go show. It might just be a popcorn booster where I'm just going to do a show and just talk about the popcorn store. It will be like a popcorn store only show just to help you hit that goal. Getting it out in the shows and getting it out to as many avenues as possible is our best way to get there. So maybe we'll get there with the popcorn booster. I'll see what I can do Saturday or Sunday. People
are saying they need an ID or a seller ID for the popcorn. I guess people are going right now. Do we know that?
No, they do not. Let me refresh this page to make sure we got the right link.
I was going to say, I didn't need one when I ordered mine, but.
No, I got the link here, and here's the popcorn link coming through. That's it. Once you're there, you just navigate in. Oh, maybe you know what might be happening because they didn't access it from maybe this is a backdoor link. Now that link should work because if I click this link independently and I go right in, let's see what happens on another tab here. I go right
Saying
in.
it brings you to a page
No.
that a bee.
I don't know why that's not working. Let's see. Well, it's working for me. I'm going right in. Let me take a look at this. Let's do this. I'm going to put my, I have a link on X. So the popcorn link is too long. So you can't put it in the chat. So what I've done is I've created an X post. And if you go to my X page, the link's right there. If you click that link, that will take you to the popcorn store link. And then so you go to my X post, click the popcorn link, and then you'll get there. That should circumvent that that right there. So just go to my X page, and yeah, Emily C says she just Googled it and it comes in. So type in Poppin' Popcorn and Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Poppin' Popcorn, Justice for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. That should do the trick. Emily C is saying she can get there off the search, which is good. And Crystal Ray is saying it worked. So that's good. Yeah,
good.
Get people to the store. Allison's doing great work.
Get it before you try. It does ship pretty fast, so you might get it. We don't know exactly how many days the trial will be, but you know what a great snack to watch it. Whether you're watching on Defense Diaries, Melanie Little, wherever, and you know that literally eating the popcorn is helping produce the results that Kelsey has in her defense and finding Bradle. That's a great, that's a win. And there's so many people like Allison that have really been instrumental. I want to say a shout out to Meredith. She runs the Facebook group. She also runs the official X page. I don't think you guys even realize how much work that is. And I don't know that I've personally thanked her on here. And the amount of work that she does on that page every day is just astonishing. And she's been a huge support system to Kelsey. And so just a huge shout out to her making everything possible on that page. And we all know how fast it's growing. Every day they're posting all new members. So it's the Justice for Kelsey Fitzsimmons official fundraiser on official page on Facebook. If you're not joined, go there and join. Anything new, they are posting it there, and it keeps very well up to date. Gator Boy, who is incredible, doing incredible work. Yes, Gator Boy as well. He has merch also for Kelsey. You can support it that way. And there's just so many people who have really just done amazing things. North Shore Nachos, they have done so many great things for so many different people. Karen Reed, Aiden, Kelsey. I mean, they're always having something. What a great group of people and human beings that have done that as well. There was someone else I was going to mention, and now I cannot remember. Oh, Bay Harbor Beauty, Emily teamed up.
Yes.
And so you get an amazing face product, which I've been hearing really good things about them anyway. And you get a little, I think it's Emily is the code, and I think 10% something goes towards Kelsey's fund. So it's just really cool to see
10%.
Everybody.
Yeah. Enter code Emily at checkout, and 10% will be sent to Kelsey's Give Send Go. That's how it works. Yeah.
Perfect. It's just really awesome to see everybody in this community coming together, and any way they can think of. We had and I forget her name, who was making the quilts and the blankets, and who auctioned them. I mean, just beautiful. And it's just really, really cool to see. Oh, look at that. That's incredible. Look, they've almost raised $300 already. I mean, just people step up to whatever they can. And that's what makes this community it's really nice. And it's just a really great to see people who care, because we could all that sucks for her and go about our business. But people are like, no, I'm going to do something. When you see that, it makes you want to do something. And it's just awesome to see. So go support anybody that's doing good for Kelsey, and also small business. So
yeah, it's awesome. I just love when people have ideas, like the woman that had the quilt idea a few weeks ago. I was like, well, I got to share this to my page because I just want to boost this. It's just it's teamwork. It's all teamwork. It's all just working together, supporting the person in front of you, behind you, next to you, and just working together. When I saw her do that quilt, I'm like, oh, I got to boost this. I want this to get, every time you share something on Twitter, you repost it. Every person that reposts it amplifies that message. So it's great. When I saw that, I'm like, let's get it posted out there. Let's share it. This is a woman that, anybody that does, like my aunt, my great aunt, was a knitter. She could knit, she could make things. And I used to see her with the I used to call them the chopsticks, and she's like there just doing the thing. And, and she'd be sitting there with like a ball of yarn, and all of a sudden, boom, it's like turns into this magnificent thing. And it's a lot of work. And it's awesome that she chose to say, well, she said to herself, well, what I could do is I could do this, make this. She had a talent for it. She made something that was beneficial to Kelsey, gave it away for free. They did a little, you donate a certain amount, and they have a drawing, and then they pick the winner. So that was really good. That was really good to see. I just like how everybody takes their abilities and their own ideas and, says, hey, this is a way we can all help out. And I just like that so much. It's one of my favorite things throughout all these years. Has just been just the people in the community coming together with what they, bringing what their abilities, their skills, their abilities, their interests, their ideas to the table, putting things to use, like the North Shore Nacho Night crew, for example. Those are people that like to get together every so often. They like to raise funds. They get out, they have a great night, they invite people out. David Unetti, Bob Orlesi, Aiden Carney, many other people have shown up there over the weeks as well, just to pop in and say hello, have a good night, have a couple of drinks and some nachos, pizza, some chicken wings possibly, and then bring it all together. But it's been awesome. So very happy to see this. And everything we're doing here is to help Kelsey. We're all here to help a woman, and we're doing it in the most creative way possible. And for people that don't like if you're someone that doesn't like to say like, money's tight, sometimes that can happen. It's not always easy. I understand. If you can't donate, share the link. You can always share the link. I've heard one person message me and said, Mazza, I can't give so much as $5. I said, that's not a problem at all. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're tuning in. You're still participating. You're learning about this story. And I just recommend please share the story. There's never any pressure to donate if you can't, but if you can share the links, if you can promote the shows, the Facebook groups, everything that's going on out there, you can contribute. You don't necessarily have to contribute financially. If that's not something that works for you, you can always contribute in a multitude of ways. Some people, so much as holding a sign or handing out stickers or whatever, is a way to raise awareness. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be you turning over money. And for some, they don't like to necessarily make a donation unless they're also getting something too. So if you're like that, the popcorn store is there. You can go to there. You can make a donation. 50% goes to Kelsey. You get some popcorn, some cookies, some other candy in return. It's a great deal. It's a win-win. Kelsey gets something. The store makes something, and you get a nice treat. So instead of spending money at the store, you can spend it at the popcorn store, help out Kelsey, and have a nice treat, and it's all good. So love it.
Yeah, it's a win-win. You can't go wrong with it. Plus, their stuff is good. It's really, really good stuff. Also, I had a show before this show with a former federal prosecutor who is top notch. I got the times wrong because we had to schedule it and reschedule it about 3 or 4 times with his schedule. So what I'd posted didn't happen. I was half ready. I had just put the makeup on, no hair done. And I get a call from his assistant who's like, hey, he was on the line. He just needs to be let in. And I'm like, oh gosh, give me like 3 minutes. So I put something on and like pull my hair back and throw on a headband and hop on. So that show is really good. He brought out so many great points. I picked his brain on everything possible that the feds could possibly do to any kind of possible charges with Justin. We had a lot of questions come in. I kind of put up the thing that I was going to do this, and I asked some people what they wanted answered. Some people told me. So those questions, all of that were talked about, and he's just a really, really great legal mind. So go check that out as well. It was a really good discussion. So I apologize. That was my fault. So that didn't go quite as planned, but it was still there, and we had a good discussion. So check that out later.
To Crystal Ray in the chat. Oh, sorry to interject. Crystal Ray in the chat.
No,
link
yeah.
for the Give, Send, Go has just been added to the comments there for you by me, and it's also pinned to the top of the chat. Crystal was looking just to make, it looks like she wants to make a donation, so we just want to make sure she has the Give, Send, Go link. And we're $14 away from 2,500 right now. It's fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Allison. He's just really good. And just a lot of food for thought in that. And we'll see, he's somebody who's a straight shooter. He didn't know a whole lot about this case. But I wanted his take on it. So yeah, he's a straight shooter. He'll tell you like it is, not gonna sugar anything. And he's good stuff. So we'll see. I don't know. I have really good hopes for the trial. I know Maza, you were talking about possibly going for a little bit of the trial. I know I'll be there as well, and I hope that we will finally get to meet in person.
Yes.
At some point. Yes.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm working out the times, the dates right now for myself, so I don't have that. I have it narrowed down, but I don't have it official yet. So I'm just working on some arrangements and all that. So I know I know the days you're gonna be here. So within that window, I should be able to meet you, and should be good to go. So even if it's in the evening or something, we can hang out, say hello, and have a crew.
Absolutely.
We gotta get Lori Mullen with us. We gotta meet Lori Mullen.
She will be there as well. Yes, absolutely. I'm in contact with her, so she's gonna, I know, be there for the trial. Emily C is gonna come. I think Nurse Kim may try to come. So we all hope to see anybody there, as many of you that can out as possible, and whether give you a hug or say hello and show support for Kelsey. That is a really big morale booster. We know it helped Karen with the trial to see people there with signs wearing pink. So here we can do the same thing for Kelsey wearing that purple. And it's gonna be good. I really have a good feeling about it. And we got a new total. Here we go. That's fantastic. You guys are amazing.
We went over to. There's gonna be another update coming in. Here we go. This is it. You ready? Drum roll, please.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. And there you go. Here it comes. There it is.
Yes. Amazing, you guys. That is amazing.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you guys so much. This community is amazing. Audrey, is that you? Okay. Audrey is another like a little like warrior hero, because she's the first person who spoke out at the select board meeting at North Andover when nobody was talking about it. And she's been to all of the meetings since. Audrey, I am planning on coming. So I know you're going to be there probably. So anyone else wants to come to the select board meeting Monday after Kelsey's trial, come, because we're going to be there. And I know another friend of mine who is coming for the trial is going to speak as well. We want to get as many people there speaking, showing, that we support Kelsey and we have questions, and they should have questions as well. So you guys come on over. Audrey will be there, and I plan on being there as well. And so as many of you who want to come, you won't be alone. There'll be people there. So yes, Audrey is amazing.
Absolutely. Popcorn store looks like it's had about 6 or 7 purchases throughout the night. They're down to 1,440 to go. They were up about, I think, 1,700 to go a few hours ago. So that's now down to 1,400 to go, roughly. That's great news.
Awesome. Mr. Monk, the select board, North Andover select board. Maza usually will stream it. I don't know if you're.
Yeah, I'm going to stream it again. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Monday night, I'll be streaming at 7.
If you can't make it, you gotta go over to my man Maza's and watch it with him. It's been awesome to have, like, especially for someone who doesn't live in Massachusetts, to be able to watch it with Maza and have him stream it and all that. So if you can't make it, definitely go over and hang out with Maza.
Word on the streets, Audrey's gonna have backup this week. I heard people are gonna be there in support of her. She was by herself the second time, which was I just, like I said, I don't want her words to go in vain without the support, the backing there. So that's right. News.
Yeah. We need support for Audrey, and she's kind of been leading the cause in the select board meeting. So we got to get her some people out there. everybody come on and hang out, and we'll make it a good time, because we're there for Kelsey, but we can also, it's going to be fun. So we'll make it fun, and come on out. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the donations. And please, this doesn't end when Kelsey goes to trial. She also has, her, well, she'll have her family court, all of her family court stuff. And, that's a huge cost. So, we'll still be, advocating for Kelsey and all of that. So you guys, we can share it. Even the trial is not getting as much publicity as it should be, in my opinion. And hopefully, if there's big crowds with signs and people out there for her, the news will pick it up, because that's a big deal. So if we can support in any way that we can, and show up, even if it's for your lunch break, which I know happened with Karen Reed a lot. People would come just for their lunch break, just to show that support. Then the news will probably report on it, and it will, it'll be a statement, I feel. So, yeah, just if you could come out, that would be amazing. And it also just is a boost for Kelsey when she comes in and out of that courtroom, and her defense team too.
Right. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a great week, and I'm looking forward to it so much. I just, it's one of those things where we just got to see this. It's going to get to the point where she can just get in court, fight this out, and move on. With
Yes.
the not guilty verdict, obviously. And it's just, I'm happy it's just getting to the point now where it's like, okay, here we go. We're waiting for months. This has been a long time fight for Kelsey and her family and her defense team. These people put a lot of hours in, and just hats off to her family.
Yes.
Just everybody in her family, the amount of support that they've shown her. They're there for her in court, sitting with her, keeping her reassured, backing her up. Martha Coakley, Courtney Healy, Tim Bradle, all just backing her up, keeping her just reassured of everything. Because it's tough. It's a tough situation to be in as an individual. But when you have a great defense team and you have a great family behind you that are supporting you every step of the way, it's very good. And I'm happy to see that. I am praying for this family, obviously, but I always say, praying is one thing, and praying's the first thing you should always do. But the second thing you should do is physically help as well in the best way that you can, whether that's on the internet or in person, whatever you can do to help them and contribute's a great thing to do. And I always say, pray first, help second, but not that one's more than the other. Pray and help. We'll just say pray and help. So that's what you got to do. Pray and help, and assist and support them. And just thank you to everybody that's doing everything they can tonight to help her out and share this message. And we're going to have a lot of good people covering this case. Obviously, Defense Diaries is going to be covering this. Broken Baker, I'm sure. Melanie Little. You're going to have a lot of evening coverage. Justice Served, Nurse Kim, The Glare, Turtle Boy. You're going to have me probably a little bit more frequently next week on live Monday night for sure. I might be on a few nights next week. And then, and obviously Common Sense Investigator. You're watching Common Sense Investigator. Look for her show. I'm not even thinking of the show I'm on, for goodness sakes. Yes, it's late. But Common Sense Investigator, look for her. I'm sure you'll be on this week. And then let's bring it home. Let's bring it home for Kelsey. Do your prayers tonight and all week long, and pray and help. That's our message here, and all that good stuff. So those are my final thoughts, and I'll give Law Girls Not Attorneys, shout out to them as well. They're in court frequently, getting us a lot of footage. Yeah, they're always getting us that footage that's the unobtainable footage. It's like they always get the footage that nobody else has that they get. They have a knack for being there with strong attendance and being present there and getting things on tape, asking questions during the post-hearing interviews as well. They're very much active. They got a shout out from Tim Bradle this week in court, which was fun. And that
was
just
cute.
Again, Bradle appreciating everybody that's there for Kelsey, and not only supporting Kelsey, but supporting him as an attorney. A lot of people are there for Turtle Boy as well. Tom CPU will more than likely be there. He was recently at the North Andover meeting, streaming live. Tom was a extremely notable live on the scene outdoor coverer, live streaming for hours and hours of just endless streaming. You'd always see him live and really bringing everybody on the internet and people out of state to be right there and see it right on the spot, which was great. So we welcome everybody that can assist and help out Kelsey and help out each other. And, my prayer is everybody just backs each other up, help each other out, support each other, love each other, and just be kind to each other as well. Are the most important things for me going into this week. I just want to see everybody just doing everything they can to just remember the message. Remember, it's for Kelsey. Remember, this is about an officer that got shot, has lost her child, has had a lot of injustices done to her with physical damage that may affect her body for who knows how long. But we're praying for everybody to just be as supportive as possible and working together and being kind and supportive of one another. I hope everyone will just bring a very strong togetherness this particular week and help each other out. And, just look to help everybody, not only help Kelsey, but help each other. And let's all pick each other up this week and build each other up. And that's my prayer. That's my message to everybody out there, is we'll just do the best we can this week. And I hope to see everybody this week. I don't know what day yet, but I'll make an announcement soon. And I'm hoping to see everybody and shake some hands. I'm a hugger too. So if you want to hug me, feel comfortable to hug me. I will. If hugged, I will hug back. And we should be good to go. So that's my final message. I got one more check for you for the donations, and I'll leave the show to you,
Awesome.
Lauren. Back to you. Your show.
Thank you so much, Maza. You have just been amazing. All of your advocacy and fundraising, and I don't know a better human that has a better heart than you. So it's been awesome to get to know you and to be, have anything to do with your fundraisers. I'm just honored. So thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you next week. And hopefully we'll be celebrating Kelsey Walker, that house acquitted, and all of this can be gone out of her life forever. So
yes, absolutely. Your total is going to be $2,531 tonight. That's fantastic.
That is awesome. You guys are incredible. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you so much, Maza, for coming on and doing everything that you have done for Kelsey and this amazing cause. You have just been so instrumental in that. So
thank you so much.
It's been
Lauren.
Thank
you
awesome.
so much. Thank you so much
Bye.
for your show.
Go UConn.
Go UConn. Take care. All right, thank you all. Bye-bye.
Okay. See you soon. Oh, you guys, this was a great show. Thank you so much to everyone who donated. Every little bit helps. So, even share this stream, hype it, like it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I plan on doing a lot of coverage when I'm out there. I'm going to try to do lunchtime lives. And I know that there'll be other great people doing very, very similar stuff. So you're going to have your days full, if you're watching court coverage, and then there's amazing creators that will be there and giving you all the latest information, just stuff maybe you don't see that is from inside the courthouse and all of that. And I hope that I get to meet a lot of you out there. I know I'm super excited to put some faces with the names that I'm seeing all the time in chats and have for like a long time. So it'll be great to be able to actually put a face with the screen name. So I hope to see everybody out there, and we can make a difference, and we can make a difference, and that we'll send a message to the North Andover Police Department, also the fire department, and all of, people are watching. This is a case for many reasons. And my guess is they know that there's corruption and things happening that shouldn't be happening. So the fact that, there's been such a strong message and people standing up, supporting her, Maza alone doing so much for the fundraising on this has been awesome, and it's really made such a difference. And just like Karen Reed, people are watching and the world is watching. So yes. Where are you from? Tell us where you're from, but we will be sending virtual hugs if you're far away. Thank you. Yeah, hype the video. It gets it out. Also go check out, I know the time got screwed up, so we didn't have people watching, but go check out the stream before this with Nima Ramani. He's awesome. We talked all about the case. His side was really good. And so yeah, his wife is also works in the family court system. And so he has knowledge on every level for this case, which I didn't even realize his wife worked there as well. So really good conversation with him. And like and subscribe if you haven't, because we're going to hang out hopefully a lot. Especially next week. Hopefully we'll be doing some celebration streams, because I that's what I think is going to happen. I too agree. I don't see how anyone is going to be able to, say beyond a reasonable doubt that this happened. There just isn't, there's not, in my mind at least. So I think we're going to have a celebration stream at some point in the near future. Will be amazing. But thank you all for being here. Okay, from the UK. Yes, I have a good friend in the UK, so that's awesome. Yes, please, that's amazing. And believe me, I see so many people supporting from other countries, like on the Facebook group and everything, and it's so cool to see. And I know Kelsey checks in on the Facebook group and often reads things from you guys and your well wishes and stuff too. So it's amazing. But yes, I think you do. I think you do have to wait until it's over the hype. So as soon as the stream is over, you should. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not monetized, so I don't know that I have an option. So maybe you can let me know. I don't know. I've been saying that, but now I'm like, wait a second. I don't know that I have that option until I like get monetized. I have subscribers, but the watch time is not enough. And then they made this crazy thing where you have to do shorts now, apparently. And it's like, I don't want to do shorts. Like, if I wanted to do that, I'd be on TikTok. Like, I don't want to do that. But apparently you have to do a certain amount of shorts in order to get monetized now, which is crazy. So I got to figure out how to do that. I don't really know what I'm doing with this whole thing yet. But anyways, Lauren, can you tell people where the hotness is? It's hard to find. Yeah, it's, now that you ask me, it depends on what you're doing. If you're on the phone, I know like it's kind of like the stream, and it should be like you can push it over a little bit, and then there's a hype option. But I haven't personally tried to do it on mine, so now I'm second guessing if you even can hype it. So if not, share it. Share the streams, all the things, share it on Twitter, then people can repost it, and then that will get the word out. Because remember, like, people who are watching live, their donations to the stream were counted while it was live. But when we, end the stream, those donations count, not to this particular fundraiser, but there's Kelsey's still receiving them. And that's the important thing. So people are watching on a replay, they still donate, and it's still exactly the same. It just isn't counted on our live, action charts that Mazza is doing for us. So it's going to Kelsey. That's all we want. That's all we care about. So people will be inclined to donate it, when they hear the story, when they hear people like Allie talking about it. Boy, she brought some great knowledge and how to maybe address things with the bench trial with the judge. So her insight was awesome, and it was great to have her. I've been wanting to have her and Bob on for a while. So it was awesome. Yeah, you have so many great options to get all your Kelsey fix this week. Carmen knows your address. Just ordered some yummy popcorn flavors for Easter baskets. That's a great idea. Easter baskets. I love that. That's perfect. Yeah, so if you're looking for something else to put in your Easter baskets, go order some and push that, because I know Allison wants to get 5,000 raised, again, and that's a huge chunk of change. That is a huge chunk of change. So all of that it's pricey with trials, and her family court stuff. There's going to be all kinds of costs. So anything we can do, we want to do it. And yes, they do. They do have stickers now. I don't know that in Priscilla. Do you know if that's in Gator Boys merch stuff? Because he has all the Kelsey merch. I saw those and were fantastic. I need to get a couple. I think they say like the truth will come out with Kelsey Fitzsimmons at the bottom. They're very cool looking. Yeah, go check out Gator Boy. That's what I was gonna tell you. I was like, I'm blanking on something. I can't now I know what it is. What's the popcorn website? It should be if you Google popcorn Kelsey Fitzsimmons, it should come up. That Emily C was able to Google it and it came up like that because we were having a little issues with for a minute. But if you Google that, it should pop up. If not, let me know. Hello, Miss Jess. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you guys. If you're not following Microdots, what are you doing? Run. They're amazing. They actually, I mean, all of their stuff for the Karen Reed trial, the defense use of their footage and the actual trial. I mean, these people, not these people, Richie is insane. Like the amount of, he puts anybody who makes videos to shame. It's just at a whole nother level. So he is going to release the Kelsey video to his Patreon members before. And so if you're not signed up for that, I mean, it's only $5 and you get to see the Kelsey video before everyone else. And go do because I think it's gonna be worth it. He is so spot on with his like recreations of stuff, and Richie really takes time to get everything correct, make sure everything is accurate. It's going to blow your mind, the stuff that he's doing. And I mean, it goes to support his work and the stuff that he has been doing for just the Karen Reed trial alone, the Aiden's case, like, and now with Kelsey's case, is really just it's top notch. And so, anyways, if you guys are interested in seeing that before it drops, sign up. I know I did because I want to see it. Like, I can't wait. So you'll get it, I think, a few days before everyone else. If not, it will be dropping at some point, so everyone can enjoy it. So, but either way, look out for that. That's coming very, very soon. Yes, Laura's saying Richie's the best as well. He's just so talented. It's insane. And it will very much help people, newcomers, understand the Kelsey case. In fact, I wish we had it now so we could have put it on the fundraiser to get those people that weren't that familiar with the case better caught up and all of that. So yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be an absolute treat when that comes out, which will be soon. And yeah, just prayers. I think even the family, is asking for prayers this weekend. It's a big weekend for them coming up. I know we're all invested in this, but Kelsey and her family have lived it. And so if we can pray for them, for their strength, and, the judge to have, the determination to see what's really going on, that will go a long way. So if you're a prayer person, then those are more than welcome and actually encouraged. So if not, send good vibes. I'm a huge believer in vibes. So send those good vibes to Kelsey and her family as well. And yeah, it's a big week ahead. I'm excited. I think we're gonna see Kelsey walk out of there, and she's gonna get her life back, and she's gonna be in a good position to do so because you guys have donated and made this possible and took a little bit of the burden off of that. I mean, it's been incredible to see this community come together over this case and all of that. So yeah, just keep it up. You guys are all incredible. And I hope to meet a lot of you next week at the courthouse. And yeah, wear purple. Let's show up big if we can, Kelsey. And thank you so much for everybody who's donated. Thank you so much. I just wanted something different. So it's the peel and stick wallpaper. I'm like, you can't go wrong. If you get sick of it, you take it down. But thank you. So yeah, well, anyways, we have a big week ahead of us. So enjoy your weekend. And yep, I'm definitely going to do that at some point too, because like I said, we got her back until she doesn't want it or need us anymore. So we're not done, and we'll help out with family court as well. Yeah, peel and stick is amazing. My walls are like textured though a little, so they're not. It's not perfect, but it's fine. It's a nice little, like, you can switch it up. So oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here and supporting Kelsey. All you guys are amazing. Go buy your popcorn. Yes, family law is very expensive, and she has Miss Hess, who is fantastic. So like Braid, he's worth every penny. So is she. So, um, and also, like, that's gonna be. I don't know, what the legalities. I don't know what the court situation is up there in Massachusetts, but I know down here you're allowed to go in the courtroom for family court. We'll have to wait and see, but wouldn't that be a sight to watch, is the family court hearings. That's where the real bombshells are going to come out. But we will be here to support Kelsey every bit of the way. And oh, you're very sweet. I'm happy to help. Like I said, if I get passionate about a case, I'm all in, and I'm all in a big way. And that's just how I do things. So I can't half-ass anything. Whether it's, like anything, like I just don't half-ass anything. So you're more than welcome. Andrea, you're so sweet. Thank you for always being here. I always see your name in the chat. So thank you so much. Yes, Mazza has been incredible. He is just a great human being. Let's see, Bradle is representing. Yep, he is, but she has Miss Hess as well. And so that's two attorneys. She's going to need more funds. So we can definitely still help her out after this. And hopefully she's all acquitted and doesn't have this on her plate. And then she'll get Caden back in the new house that she has for her new future. And all of you guys were able to, well, hopefully all of you guys were able to see the photos that she sent in on the Facebook group of Caden's nursery, that a lot of the items were put on the gifts or not the Amazon wish list, and you guys so generously purchased them, and she set everything up, and so that was really cool to see. It looked adorable, and he's gonna love that and love being home with mommy and playing in his house, back with mom. So it's gonna be great. Yeah, Bradle is not cheap. He is not. Good attorneys are really pricey. So any donation, big or small, is well appreciated, and it really adds up. So yes, it was very beautiful. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I love you guys. You're amazing. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting Kelsey. And I hope to see and hug many of you at the courthouse this week as we are supporting Kelsey. And hopefully we get to see our girl walk out of that courtroom, a free woman with all of this in the past. So love you guys. Thanks for showing up here tonight and supporting Kelsey. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys.